guys, good morning, welcome to the live session of Stocks Network Trading. My name is Dave, guys, my partner is Ron. Let's get down to business here, guys.
In on US 30, sell, okay? I'm jumping in. Guys, that's a 100 pip drop. Yes, we caught it. Hey, guys, 200 pips, please, secure.
Hey guys, good morning, welcome to the live session of Stocks Network Trading. My name is Dave, guys, my partner is Ron. Let's get down to business here, guys.
In on US 30, sell, okay? I'm jumping in. Guys, that's a 100 pip drop. Yes, we caught it. Hey, guys, 200 pips, please, secure.
Let's just hit the record and we'll get started here. Okay. Good morning. Welcome, guys. Thanks, everyone, for joining. Welcome to Stocks Network Trading. My name is Ron. My partner is Dave. It is almost 7 a.m. Eastern, and we're going to go till about 10:30, 11 a.m. We'll go through COMEX and Wall Street together today. So it is a Friday. Just be careful trading. End of the week. We're nearing the end of the month. Monday is actually the last day of the month, the 30th. That's when we're going to have end of the month expiration, rollovers in the futures, and all of that. But just treat today as a regular Friday. We'll go over if there's any high impact news. And just, again, always, doesn't matter what the day is, always manage your risk appropriately. But on Fridays, try the best of your ability not to do anything silly, so you don't ruin your weekend. Okay, guys? So I hope everyone is having a great day. We're going to get started right now. We'll get started with the news. So we'll get started with Forex Factory over here. We already had some news coming out of Europe, and this is what we're going to walk ourselves into over here at 8:30 a.m. Eastern, right after Commodities Exchange opens up. We do have a GDP month-over-month red folder coming out of Canada. And we also have a US red folder, core PCE price index month over month. And if you don't know what that is, you can just click on it real quick, and then you can see it's the change in the price of goods and services purchased by consumers, excluding food and energy. Okay, so we'll see what the numbers are, what the actual numbers when they come out. The previous was 0.1. They're forecasting no change in the forecast to another 0.1 this month, and we'll see what the actual number is. And we also have personal income, personal spending coming out in the US. We have right before Wall Street market opens at 9:15, we do have two FOMC members, Cook and Hammock, speaking. And then as we get into 10 a.m. Eastern, we have the revised University of Michigan Consumer Report and the revised University of Michigan inflation expectations. And that's pretty much the news for today, unless there's any breaking news that comes out. But this is what's scheduled for today, okay? And also earnings. We don't have much for earnings going on. We just had these two corporations this morning reporting at 6:30, and Human here before the open. No big deal. I don't think these are going to affect the markets, and there's not much going on in the after hours today, so I wouldn't be too concerned about earnings today. I would just prepare for next week, over the weekend, get ready, go over the news next week, go over earnings, and get familiar with what's going on for next week. In the news right now, here in Canada, the Canadian dollar, the loonie, notches its biggest gain in 1 month as the greenback, the US dollar, slides. A lot of the majority of the Canadian dollar, the gain has also been the strength of oil. So that's what's got the Canadian dollar strengthening a little bit. This is the news in the markets. Majority of Fed officials are leaning against a July interest rate cut. So this is going to be the big speculation. As we head into the month of July, is the FOMC, is the Fed going to pause, or are they going to decrease the interest rates? They're under heavy pressure to decrease these rates, but again, they're staying firm, maybe on holding, so we'll see what they do. So that's going to be interesting going into the month of July, what they do with this FOMC announcement. Okay, and just looking at some other things in the news over here. U.S. stock futures rise on a rate cut hopes ahead of inflation data. So that's why maybe we're having a stock rally right now. We're hitting all-time highs on various securities. Could be that they are on the rise for this rate cut to come in July. So we'll see what happens. Jobs data, trade and fiscal policies in focus with the S&P 500 on cusp of record. In NVIDIA fueling the AI revolution. Can it hit a $5 trillion market cap? That would be something spectacular if it can reach 5 trillion, and it possibly can. Like that, I don't think there's anything that can stop NVIDIA for the next little bit. It's a powerhouse of a security, so I think it can hit that $5 trillion market cap in the next few years. And right now in the U.S. markets, E-mini S&P is up 0.2%, mini Dow is up 0.25%, NASDAQ is up 0.28%, gold is down 1.6% right now. So that's going to be our first security we'll take a look at. We'll look at gold as soon as we get started here. Looking at our Discord signals, there was a signal that was sent out for a buy around 32.90 and 88, so we'll revisit that in today's session. We'll mark that that area up and we'll take a look at it. There's a free Telegram for everybody in the chat over here on YouTube. It's pinned at the top of the chat for you guys. You guys are welcome to join it, and this is where we put all of our latest information and everything in here in our Telegram chat. Right over here. Okay, guys, so you get your YouTube links, you get the stock trade ideas, some recaps, and also some free ideas in there. What's going on with Dave's sessions in his Zoom, and everything else going on at SST, okay? And if you guys want to join the team, visit our website, stocksnipertrain.com, and we'd love to have you guys on the team. There's lots of education, live sessions, and there's a free blog available for you guys right over here at all the blogs, okay? So welcome everyone. Thanks everyone for joining. Let's get into this. We're going to start off with gold. We do have our news over here, financial juice news on the left. So if we see anything right now coming out, latest news was at 6:30. China makes finalizing minimum price deal. So we'll see what happens with, right now there is negotiations, talks with China and the US on trade deals. I still haven't seen anything that like has a detailed plan or anything like that. So we'll be waiting to see if that hits the markets. Right over here. So we got Trump admin preparing package of executive orders to boost power supplies for AI industries. Okay, so let's get into it. Welcome everyone on Zoom. Good morning. Thank you guys for joining. Conrad, Thuzme, Zizi, welcome guys. Thanks all for joining, and everyone on YouTube as well. Thank you guys for joining, and let's get into this, okay? So we're going to start a little analysis with gold, XAU USD on the 5 minutes right now. So again, that area of interest is right here. We're looking at 32.90, 32.88. It's approaching there, but let's see if we can get some bullish volume closing above those levels, and then we'll see if there's any pullbacks. Maybe we've already made our bottom down here around 32.80, and we can build off of this right now, okay? So let's start off on the daily. And we'll bring it down to the 5 minutes. So we have a bearish engulfing daily candle coming down right now. So we're going to see if that 32.80 area is the bottom. It's the bottom wick right now, but still it's got heavy selling volume above it. So we'll see if we can kind of flip that. Just some specific areas to be charting and to be analyzing. Our all-time high is right here, so we can mark up our all-time high. Since the all-time high, that most recent pullback right there, that was our most recent low. So that's our entire range on a higher time frame scope right there. You can see where we are trading right now, right in between these orange lines. We do have zones identified as well that we can put on these charts right now. Right over here, that was the all-time high supply. So you can see since there we came down, came back up, double top. It also retested and got rejected and pushed down to that orange line. We came right back up right over here in mid-June, and again they pushed it right back down. It was retested multiple times. You can see those wicks in there, and we've been pushing down. This was a candle we were talking about here on Tuesday of this week. 50% of it, you can see it's been holding since that pullback on Thursday, and we started bearish engulfing and keep pushing down where we filled Tuesday's low, and we're going to see if it further falls down or if we can start to reverse in the next little bit. Okay, so that's our supply zone up there. We do have a area of support that was right over here that was forming that bull flag. We've identified this many weeks ago, but we've been using the same zone when we stretch it into the future. So you can see when it came down in here, it reversed right out of here, came back to the double top and back down, and we broke it right here and also pushed down. But then you see how the volume consolidated: bearish day, bullish day, bearish day, bullish day. And then we ended up pushing back up out of here, diverging away from here. So this was really close to coming into the green zone, but it got that higher low wick right there at 32.47 on May 29. And since then, we've been making higher lows where we got back up there. But you see, slowly we're coming right back down. So in the next little bit, are we going to revisit this green zone, or are we going to get a higher low wick and start to push up on this bearish volume and go back up to this red zone? Okay. But right now we're coming right back down. You can see that gold is still just ranging for the most part in this big kind of, if you add up each one of these daily candles, you got multi-weeks, you got months of trading in there. That it started this range in the mid-April, and we're over here, we're walking into July very soon. So you can see how long it's been in this range. A lot of selling, a lot of buying. It's coiling up. Are the buyers gonna win and break it out for a new all-time high, or the sellers gonna bring it back down here and start pushing it down? So now what we got to focus on is more of this week's momentum. So you can see when it all started. Monday was a really light day. You can see it was a spin top, but the volume was still below the red zone. We opened Tuesday. Tuesday was a bearish day, pushing all the way down to right there. So we can see today we have a new weekly low, and it came back up and closed right here. This is a point of interest right over here. So we have a closing price right there, and we have an opening bar candle the next day, Wednesday. So you can see now we are below this yellow line. So this right here, this yellow line, 3,321, 22 is resistance right now if we get back up there. Another big area that you should recognize is 50% of Tuesday's volume. So I have a line right there, half of it, and you can see the retest on Thursday. We came up there right up to 50%. It got rejected and came back down, closed with the volume, and we're continuing to push down with this. So what we got to do is mark up today's candle. So if I look, is there a wick on top of it? No, there isn't. So when it opened up from the transition from yesterday where we closed, it just opened up, bearish, ignited. So as if this was a 5-minute candle, you can see that the selling pressure was right on the bid right away, and they continue to push it down. So that is in fact our high of the day, 3,328. It is actually a bearish ignited candle. So we've pushed, sellers have pushed it down, filled this wick. I would kind of mark that area right there. That might kind of represent our zone of halfway of our candle, or the 50%, and just a little bit above, a little bit below. Here, 3,310. You can still see the sellers, after they filled this wick, they continue pushing down, and they filled Tuesday's low. So therefore we have a new weekly low printed in the market right now. And it continues to push down. So there's our daily low, 3,280, I would say. Right there is our daily low, purple line. And it's got a tiny wick right now. It's coming up. But again, notice the size of today's bearish daily candle. So what I do now is I grab my Fibonacci tool so I can find exactly where's 50% and where is a zone. So this daily candle is moving. So I'm going to try to the best of my ability to do it as accurate as possible. There's the 0.5. So there was that yellow line from yesterday's low. What I'll do is I'll just move it to more fresh volume today, right exactly at 50% of our current volume. It's 3,306. And then what I'll do is I will do my zone a little bit above, a little bit below, and then you see how it taps into yesterday's wick right there. So this is not a green box, it's a big bearish candle. We're still below it with volume wise, so that's a red zone going across. So if the buyers come back and we start to trade into, look at the psychological number, 3,300, maybe halfway is 3,306, at the top is 3,310.11. That could, the sellers could be there and continue to push this down. Okay, so we've got kind of a little bit of analysis right now. But what happens if the sellers continue come down and they take out our low today and go for a new low? Okay, so then we have to look back here. I would be looking at this big daily bar right here from when it opened and where it closed. I would definitely be looking right in here. Where's 50% of that? Okay, again, easy way of doing it. Grab your fib, you know, from that blue candle from where it opened, where it closed. There's exactly 0.5. So 3,260 right there. And if you want, what you could also do is you could find a nice bullish zone in that body of that candle. Again, what we just did with the bearish one, we're doing the same thing with the bullish one. A little bit above, a little bit below that 0.5, and there's our zone. So if we do walk in there, maybe we're going to look for some support in there. Maybe we'll look for some buyers in there. Okay, we can see how it came through here on May 29. It cut right through there and big rejection on the buyers. Then it came down again, higher low, and that started that bullish ignited daily candle on June 2nd. And now we're coming right back down in there. So just stretch these into the future because they might play out later next week or the week after. Okay, so it is clearly bearish today. But let's now bring it on. So if we also look at the trend starting like June 16, it's been making lower lows, lower highs, a new lower low, a lower high, and a new lower low. So you can see the last few weeks, it is bearish, this trend coming down. But if we look over the last few months, it is obviously bullish, okay? But we do have this bearish trend that we cannot neglect, okay? Let's bring it down to the 1 hour now, okay? So now we're gonna see more dissecting, breaking down the daily candle. When did it make its big moves? We can see Thursday over here, 6 a.m., 7 a.m., COMEX, 8 a.m. Wall Street kind of found a little bit of a bottom there and it bounced back up, but then pivoted right there. So if I'm looking at hourly structure in the market, that definitely would be an area I would be marking up right there, 3,335. You can see how it stopped, and then sellers continued to push it back down for a new low. And then where did we get our big move? It started right, here's the futures market. There's 9 p.m., 10 p.m. We had a big push down at 10 p.m., closing below that last low. And then the continuation, 11 p.m., there's midnight, then it started to come back up 1, 2. Here's London, okay? So London is a pretty important time in the markets. So this body right here, this hourly body represents London. And you can see the volume is still below 50% of London's hourly candle. So the same thing what I did with the daily, you can do with the hourly. If you want to find exactly where 50% of London's hourly volume is, grab your fib tool from where it opened, where it closed. There exactly is 0.5. And you can see it's 3,290. And I'll place a white line there for my hourly. And that's the hourly resistance. And then I can see how it kind of impulsively broke above and closed right there. It impulsively came up and it went back down. It impulsively came back above it and we're right back down. We're trying to come back up at this hour, but it's still kind of below it. You can find a red zone as well with that hourly candle. You can go a little bit above, a little bit below, and there's your hourly red zone right there. And you can see how we've been trading in it the last few hours right there. So now you can clearly see how we came into it right here at 4 a.m. and got rejected and closed right there. 5 a.m. in the red zone, below 50%, bearish engulfing candle come down. That's when we hit our low of the day at 6 a.m. Pre-New York session, we came back up, very bullish, again, right into that red zone, and then they pushed it right back down. This is our new hourly candle right now that just opened 15 minutes ago. And again, it came up there strong, got up to 3,288 and pushed back down. We're looking for buys like above 3,290 to see if this will reverse back up. Right now, we're consolidating right now on the hourly where it's bearish, bullish, bearish, bullish, bearish. So it's still accumulating in here, but this is a big point that we're going to watch today. So I'll place an alert in here to keep us aware if we do get in here and we're doing some other charts that this is an area of focus. Okay, so we do have a body and a body already printed now on the hourly. So we do have some good hourly support last few hours. Over here at 3282.50 above our low of the day. Okay, so it could be technically building a little bit, but we are still consolidating in this zone right now on the hourly. So that's our accumulation zone. We're going to see our more buyers going to accumulate, more sellers going to accumulate out of this zone, but that's what we are in right now. And on the hourly, if the sellers continue to come down and break for a new low and it starts dropping, where will it go down? What we look for is under the purple line. We look for the last time the hourly volume was trading below that purple line, and here's the first attempt, and we can see exactly what time it was. It was Friday, May 30th at 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. reversed it. So what I can look for underneath that purple line, is there a particular area what I could look for? Something where I get multi-touches, maybe right there. I get a body, a wick. So if I place a white line right there, a body, wick, look at backwards now. When that bullish candle closed above it, look at what it retested. It retested that white line. When the volume was below it, look at what it retested, the white line as resistance. When it was above it, look at what it retested, the white line right there. So you can see that this is an important static line at 3,276 or 75. If that can't hold, then that wick right there. So this is where you have your hourly points of interest if it does come down there. If you can't hold this, then we're going to come to the top of the green box, and I expect the big buyers to be in this green zone here, okay? But that's if we continue to go down bearish. We'll see if it continues to break down. Right now, looking at the hourly, it's making lower lows, a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, and that lower low. But we'll see, we need to kind of break out of here and create some higher lows, okay? So if we kind of put everything on the hourly in a parallel channel, we're coming down like this, coming down like this. I'm trying to keep it as accurate as I can, like right around there. I'm going to just change it to red for bearish, okay? And you still see that we haven't even got above that dotted line. That's why this area around 3290 is a good opportunity to look for reversal buys on gold. If it can come to right there, 3290, break that hourly resistance, break the dotted line, maybe an impulse, and then it comes back and retests this. We have this as a green zone, and then starts to break back up to the top of the channel, somewhere right around 3300 in there, and that's where it could possibly go. But it could also flag and drop for a little bit, maybe grab some liquidity and go back up. But it is technically a bearish flag in there. You're absolutely right on this trend coming down. Lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, and then this is a flag on the bear side that could continue push. But if it starts to build with higher lows and we get some good closing, remember on the hourly, we have not seen a bullish bar close above here. So just like if this was 5 minutes, you know, there could be impulse breaks, but it could get rejected and come back down. So we got to look for our first physical bullish body up there. What we can do is bring it down to lower time frames. We can go down to the 30-minute, 15-minute. Let's go to the 5s. And then this is our 5-minute structure right now. So a lot of consolidating down in here. Came back down, came back up. You see how those bodies, a lot of transacting going on up here, but nothing really closing above that 32.90, 91 level. It pushed it right back down. We just hit the low of the day right there prior to taking the call at 650. We had nice bullish candles coming back up and building. So we're still in this consolidated zone. So we'll continue to watch gold. Right now it's 7:20. We have another hour until COMEX market opens up, and there is some 8:30 news coming out. So we'll see how gold is moving. So we'll stay with this for maybe 10 more minutes, and then we'll start to look at NASDAQ and US 30, and then we'll have all 3 charts done going into COMEX, news, and Wall Street, okay? Any questions regarding the analysis of gold? What we could also do is add a few indicators. We could add the SST daily bar indicator right over here. So just a recap of what I was talking about. When we opened bearish ignited, that was that purple line high. We continued to push all the way down. We just got to our low at 650, and we have a wick forming right now. But there is still heavy selling pressure. But this would be where it could possibly flip around 32.90, 91 and start to reverse its momentum. So it is building down here. We can take a look at 5-minute RSI. Okay, so again, we're getting to that 50 level. That's that psychological 50 level that can start to strengthen if we get above here. But there's been a lot of fake outs where it came, the strength broke above 50, got strong to about 56, and then they just brought it right back down. We came again on the next bullish leg up, right back to that 50 psychological level, and they rejected it back down. It came again right over here, was short-lived, push it back down. Again, we got up above 50, but they're still pushing it down. So it is building, the strength is building, but it is still at that psychological level where sellers could still push it down. So we have to keep an eye on that. Also, we'll add a 9 EMA. This is this green line, so we're trading relative right at the 9 EMA. And our 200 is all the way up here, located right at 50% of our daily bars. So also on the SST daily indicator, we have in the settings, you can add a trailing Fibonacci sequence. I have the other numbers, the other ratios taken off. The only one I keep on is the 0.5 to tell me where the psychological midpoint is. But this is of the entire candle range. So from the purple line to the purple line, and that's telling me exactly 3,303 and 87 cents is the halfway point of gold. So that's the psychological level. For example, if the buyers bring it all the way back up there and it gets to that 3,303, that's a potential area where the sellers are waiting at that psychological 50% pocket right there, and then to bring it back down. Okay, but we'll see if it gets up there, what type of depth of market we see up there if it gets up there. Okay, so right now we're just still inside here. And then what I do is, same thing what I did on the daily, same thing what I do on the hourly, is the same thing I do on the 5 minutes. So you see this big bearish engulfing candle at 705, okay? Can we identify where about 50% of that body of volume is? You can kind of guess like this, if you like, or you don't need to guess. You can grab your Fibonacci tool just like I did on that daily, just like I did on the hourly. I can do the same thing on that 5-minute bearish bar at 705 from where it opened, where it closed. See how close I was with my red line, placing it at that 0.5 right there is exactly. And what you could also do with that body is a little bit above, a little bit below. You could also make a red zone on that bar, and we can see if the short-term buyers can physically break it and close above, and we invert this, and maybe we could look for a buy above it. But you can still see how strong the sellers still are. So that bearish engulfing bar, there's that zone, there's exactly 50%. It came right back up to it, got rejected. It came right back up to it, it got rejected. It just tapped right into it right now at 720, and they're rejecting it back down. Okay, so we got to continue to watch. We need to see buyers start to close it above here. In order to break these resistance zones, it's got to get up here, close above there. We flip that to green. Maybe we'll consolidate here. Maybe 2 times it will come down, double bottom it, and then it might have enough momentum to break through here and actually break through it. Like, let's say it's an impulse to that dotted line, and then it comes back down. Then we can flip this to a green zone. If it closes above, maybe it catches a retest here, and then it's got enough momentum to break that daily point of interest, maybe drive back up to 3,300. But we got to go level by level, and the buyers are still don't have the strength to break above 50% of that candle. So we have to watch the low of the day, like for a double bottom down in there. So what I would be doing now is, I see the nice bottom already created right there, and stretching it into the future. I want to see if it comes back down in here. Will it be a higher low at the green line? Will it come right exactly tweezer bottom lows in the green box? Will they break it for a new low and come back in, or will it close bearish below there? Then this zone will turn red, and we might still have further market push down. Okay, so we're going to see if we can build off of this. So right now, gold is still consolidating, in my opinion, inside here. The sellers are still in control, because if you look at everything, you got a lower high, you got a lower high, a lower high, a lower high, a lower high. You've got these lower lows, that lower low but so far we have no more lower lows. It could be building right now, okay? So if there's any questions, let me know. We're approaching 7:30 in about 3.5 minutes, okay? We have a nice bullish bar coming right back up. Is anyone in any trades right now? I currently am not. I'm currently just waiting to see what will kind of happen. We're still in this hourly consolidated range. This entire rectangle zone that we've identified is the hourly consolidation. So there's a lot of accumulation. I'm on the 88 on gold. Buys or sells, or what do you got going on at 88? Buys, okay. Yeah, I could definitely get up there. We've got higher lows continuing to form here, but we just got to get some bullish volume closing above, I would say 86 to build off of this, and then we could definitely get up to 88, and I want to see if we can break out of 90. It's had some attempts in here, but gold can be stubborn. You guys know that. It can be pretty difficult, but we got to let the candles do the talking right now. Okay, so again, you see that strength of that bullish candle? It came up, they just pushed it right back down, but when we got close to the opening price, again, we just got that injection of bullish volume with approximately 90 seconds to go. So we'll see if we can continue to hold, maintain, build. And then guys, just heads up. So what we'll do on our next charts is we'll do a split screen like this. We'll do US 30 and we'll do NASDAQ. NASDAQ is on the move right now. US 30 is lagging behind, but what we'll do is we'll keep two of our index securities together like this, side by side. We'll keep gold by itself. So that's what we'll do today, okay? But we'll get to analyzing NASDAQ and US 30, and give me about 10 more minutes, and then we'll have both of those charts done prior to COMEX, and we'll watch gold and COMEX, and then we'll kind of switch over and watch US 30 and NASDAQ going into Wall Street, okay? Has anyone ever been sprayed by a skunk by any chance? I woke up around 5:30 a.m. Eastern. I had a coffee. I went on my front porch and I just sat. I normally sit there. I have my coffee. I relax out there, have a smoke. And there was a skunk staring right at me. Like we were eye to eye. I have a little garden. Like there's some flowers right in front. And he was just holding his ground. I just glanced and it was staring right at me, eye to eye. So it was like whoever flinched first. I panicked. I got so scared. I ran in the house. I kicked my coffee and I I opened the front door and I just slammed it. And I was just staring through the glass at the skunk, and he didn't spray me, but it was like a Western showdown. We were just staring at each other, and I was the chicken. I ran out of there so fast. I've never had that happen before, where I was just like face to face with the skunk. Oh my God. Because if those things spray you, I have no idea how to get that smell off or anything. I have neighbors, they've had their dogs sprayed by them, but I don't know a human who's been sprayed by those. I don't even know what to do or what I would have happened, but that was funny. Oh my god, a chickmunk got you, boom. Oh, if it, the skunk was a bear. I don't know. I'm normally tough when it comes to that, but that skunk freaked the shit out of me today. And he's starting to like mark his territory in my flower garden because I can see all these holes. He's digging in there, so I think I'm gonna go this weekend and get a cage and catch him and release him in the wild. I don't want him anywhere near me. I'll put a camera out there so you guys can see him. He's big too. It's not a small skunk. This guy is massive. I don't know what it eats out there, but hell no, I'm not getting sprayed by that thing. If someone saw me, like if there was a neighbor walking by or someone that saw that, they'd probably like, what is this guy doing? He just spilled his coffee and ran in the house and slammed the door and was looking right out the glass window. It's like I saw a ghost. Okay, we'll see if we get any breaking news over here. Russia's Novak government does not discuss gasoline exports ban for producers. Oh, thank you, Samuel. Yeah, I'm going to use a cage. It's disposable towel to cover and mark, make it dark. Yep. Okay, guys, so you can still see gold is still barcoding here. Bullish, bearish, bullish, bearish. We're still in here. We're still below 50% of this, but it definitely looks like it's building. We got a higher low, higher low, higher low. We got a bullish ignited candle starting from this lowest point of the day so far. So it is, building a little bit, but we still, whenever I say I need the buyers to prove to me or confirm to me that they're strong, I got to see them close above here. Get it above 3286. And it is 7:30 right now. So if we go look at our 30-minute candles, okay? So these are our 30-minute candles, and look at how clustered, look at how consolidated our 30-minute candles are. Like right here, starting like London, just after London, 3:30 it came down, 4 a.m., 4:30 back up, 5 and 5:30 back down, 6 back up. You got 6:30 that came all the way down. That made our low of the day. It got a nice rejection. But what we can notice is the volume is starting to thin out a little bit. Like they're not as big as these candles were. They're smaller right now. So maybe the market is thinning out, and a possible clue of maybe a reversal, but still sellers are still pushing it down. Okay, we're still below this. So now we're barcoding where it's bullish, bearish, bullish, bearish. Let's watch if there is a double bottom or like a liquidity grab below this low of the day. Because sometimes the market does some sneaky things where they'll come down. They know that there's liquidity. There's a low of the day. Maybe they'll break it quickly. And then there's a quick wick that gets rejected out of there and it comes back up here and then closes, and it might retest this again. And then that might give us that potential to get above there and then retest this, then get that breakout. But sometimes something like that needs to happen. I've been part of that move millions of times, as you have too. So sometimes they need that last bit of liquidity and then to take all pending orders, all stops out, everything before it reverses out of there, okay? But we can't be naive to the fact that this could still be a bearish and just keep pushing down, okay? It is a Friday too. If there is peace negotiations, and I hope there is peace negotiations around the world, that's the most important thing than just trading gold. So there is a ceasefire, hopefully, in negotiations in the Middle East. But that just means maybe a peace in Iran and Israel, but Israel will continue to going after in Gaza. So there will still be war. Ukraine and Russia, I don't see it cooling off anytime soon either. So just keep those things in mind. And then what the market is basically waiting for are for the details of China and US's trade negotiation deal. If in fact there is a concrete deal, we want to see what it details. Okay, so see how it kind of came down. It flipped again, came back up bullish. It got up to that 9 EMA and then rejected it back down. So we got this spin top, thin volume, just consolidating down in here. So it is still technically bearish, but we'll see what happens down in here. Okay, so kind of identify where liquidity levels are. There's liquidity down in here. Okay, so I'm just going to place an alert down in here if it comes down into that liquidity pool, just to give us an alert, just in case I'm on the other charts, in case we're looking at NASDAQ or US 30, just to give us an alert if it does come down there and we break our low down into here. So now we got a shooting star candle coming down, so it's still bearish, guys. Okay, and then at 7:45, I'm going to start to do US 30 analysis, and then we'll watch gold how it goes into COMEX. Okay, so now look at we're coming back into our green zone right over here, from the low of the day where it came back up, and then that bullish ignited candle at 6:55 started right there. So we just came right back into the zone. It showed us that there was buyers pending because it got that wick and rejected out of there. So is this where we're going to get a double bottom? Is it going to be one of those liquidity grab bottoms where it comes down here, grabs the liquidity, then gets a wick and goes back up and then still pronounces that double bottom? Or are the sellers going to cut right through here and close it bearish below here? Then, just going through the motions, guys, if that happens, if this bearish candle closes below there, I'm going to flip this green box red. Because it could still identify that there's still sellers in the market, So I just go through the motions, even when I'm in a trade, So I just do my robotic trading, my robotic analysis as if I'm in a trade or if I'm not in a trade. It's got to be done, So that's what keeps me consistent and not changing my bias and things like that. I just follow what the volume does. So I see right there that it broke that previous low and it's created a new low of the day. Okay, now I want to see if there's going to be a sharp reversal. Just breaking that low, even if it's just by a couple pips, it's very psychological in the depth of market. It broke the low, they maybe grab those last bit pending orders, maybe hit a few stops down there, whatever is the case. But you can see how it's got a wick now and reversing back up. But we'll see how the body of volume closes. Will it still close above this green box? Then in fact, it's still a green box. Will the next candle open bullish ignited and continue to push off of this rejection? We still have 40 seconds to go into the close. This candle could completely flip and be a bullish pin bar and coming back up. So that's a fantastic pushback on the buyers when it came down there. So you see how they really protected that low day? It technically was a new low, but look at the response, how they brought it right back up, and we're right now back into that hourly consolidation. So good reaction by the buyers down there. Okay, they protected that area. Well, now we're going to watch how it will close. Okay, so it did in fact close a bearish spin top. Okay, there's still a little bit of bearish volume. It did technically close below our hourly consolidated zone, so it still sellers could push it right back down, and we may get reattempt in this green zone. But if it comes in there and gets a higher low wick, then we know it's building. So now it's coming back in. Will it grab a wick right there at the top of the green box? Right there, yeah, that finger is, right there, and we'll see if it can flip this candle up. Okay, so it came back up. They're still pushing it down. Remember, the head is still bearish. The buyers have not flipped the head of that candle blue yet. Okay, so it's still technically bearish. Okay, there was the first flip of the candle. got about 3.5 more minutes to go. Everyone on YouTube, if you guys wouldn't mind hitting the like button, subscribing to the channel, hitting the notifications right now while we're waiting for this to develop. We do appreciate it if you guys can do that. If you guys are getting value out of our channel, give us a like. Okay, so how many of you guys are bullish? How many of you guys are bearish? Let's see the bias on the call, on today's call. What are you guys? Armandi bullish. Reese bullish. Okay, so you guys are thinking that this low of the day is going to hold over here. A lot of 15-minute divergence. Okay, good, good. Now we're talking trading language over here. I like that. 15-minute divergence. Okay, so let's see, 2 minutes to this candle closing. I might look to enter in a buy myself. We're at the low of the day. It's kind of holding so far. Even if there's a move from here and coming up to the red box up there, it could be about 30 to 40 pips from where we are now. But again, maybe I don't want to just get into a buy early. I want to see blue volume close back above that 32, 82, 83. Just get it back in that hourly consolidation. We're still below it, so I'm still, not convinced that the buyers are strong yet. I gotta see how it accumulates in here myself. But yeah, I'm technically looking for buys myself, but I'm not ready to get in yet. Okay, so look at the sellers. They rejected that hourly resistance. That's that consolidation. This entire neutral zone was from the hour, and you can see that the 5-minute volume is diverging away from it. So the sellers now are pushing it all the way back down. But look at the size of that wick, okay? So that's a rather large wick for them to fill. So will we get a higher low? I always look at that. I always look at the size of the wicks. Even when I'm in a trade and I'm looking to how much profit I'm going to take. I look, does it have enough momentum to fill a wick and go to the next bodies of volume? So I always judge that. And that was a big rejection on the buyers. So for the sellers to come all the way down there again and fill that wick for that new low, it's a lot of work for them. So you see how it came in right into 50% of that green box and got a wick, and the buyers are still there protecting it with a higher low. So every time it comes down, the buyers are still technically here, but they're not showing any strength going into the close, is what I mean. It's not how you start, it's how you finish, okay? They're starting, like they're early in the candle, they're bringing it back up, but when it comes to finishing and closing out the candle, the sellers are still in control, pushing it down, pushing it down. So again, I gotta kind of see, I gotta be convinced that the buyers can engulf this, maybe close it above there, then retest this, then look for a buy to take it back up to that red box. It could get rejected there, but at least maybe it's building something like this then, and then can get back up to 32.90. Okay, so we got to, again, we came in the green zone, higher low, higher low, higher low. Okay, so it is building. This is still technically the double bottom of the green zone. So, but it's taken multiple times coming in here. That's normal in trading. Takes a while to push up on all of this bearish volume on the daily. Okay, and this is a new 15-minute candle as well. So you can take a look at your 15s. The 15-minute came all the way in there, back up, closed, and this is the new 15-minute candle coming back up. So this is our hourly consolidated zone. So can we get that 15-minute volume back inside here, that bullish volume? and we can also watch it on the 5 minutes right here. Okay, so just showing you guys, you know, like if we look for buys like above 32, 82, 83, just having your stop loss just below that previous low is about a 35 pip stop loss. Having it a little lower, you're looking about 40, 45 pip stop loss. So you got to always think of the trade ahead of time before you even take it. So if I'm buying up here and I'm placing my stop like below that wick or just right there, I have to factor in that I got to be at least 35, 45 pips of drawdown, or if it goes down there, okay? So you should be thinking of your lot size or contract sizing prior to even engaging in a trade so that you're managing your risk properly, okay? And it's getting rejected again at that location. It's coming back up there and they're rejecting it back down. See that? See what I mean? The buyers don't have follow through today. It's coming back up there. Like they're buying early, but when they're bringing it up there, the sellers are just absorbing them and keep pushing it back down. Okay? So like we might be looking for buys, but I'm not convinced yet that the buyers are strong. They're just not showing me that strength right now because they're not closing it. Like they're not engulfing a bar. They're not closing above an hourly point of interest. It's the sellers are there at these points of interest. So you see now they've rejected that big bullish bar and it turned it into a shooting star, and it could possibly take out that previous low that we were building off of, and now they're coming back down to attempt the low of the day right there, possibly a new low of the day. And there's some news coming out of here with U.S. Treasury Secretary Bessent. So there's a lot he's saying here. I'm confident that magnets will flow in China-U.S. deal. I'm not seeing de-escalation with China. The agreement with China will allow magnets to flow to everyone who received them before on a regular basis. 20% fentanyl tariffs on China remain in place. Now our tariffs are 30% on China. Theirs are 10%. It's going to be up to the Chinese. I think we can keep this de-escalation under control. We don't want to decouple from China. We will see if China wants to be a responsible partner. Okay, so that's all right there. You see all of that was released 6-7 minutes ago. Okay, so it is still technically bearish. You know, if we're looking for buys, we are definitely counter trading this move. Okay, so you got to be very careful. Remember, when you're counter trading anything, go in smaller. You're speculating, and then when you start to get convincing volume, confirmed volume, then you can start to add positions. But if you're speculating buys, the sellers are still pushing it down. I would go small if you're looking to buy. Because sellers have the entire momentum right now. And we're going to go into 8 a.m. in the next 10 minutes. Guys, for give me about just a few minutes. I just want to do US 30 quickly. Right over here, US 30. Just a faster top-down analysis. So what I do is I'm going to stick with the 5 minutes, okay? But I'll just add my daily bar indicator. I can see how it opened. It opens right here. Okay, bullish ignited open, purple line. Okay, so it's kind of like how gold was a bearish ignited open. There it is, 6 p.m., big bullish move. And since then, it's retraced back into here. Do I see where about 50% of that bullish 5-minute candle is? Right around there. Are we still holding it? Yes. Okay, so that was the most recent pullback right there. I can see already a zone right there has been developed. Okay. So, and then I see that right up here, there's resistance where it got rejected. There's a double top resistance. So up here is another zone of resistance, right? There's where it's red. You can bring it across as soon as it starts to close above. This zone is demand, okay, and right up there. So you see my daily bar indicator 0.5. Okay, I got an alert on gold right now. So it just hit that red line right there. So it's still coming down. That's where I said that there could be some liquidity below that previous low of the day. So let's see what type of reaction we get here. And if it closes below here, that double bottom zone that we were looking for it to build, like right there, that double bottom, this could be flipped to red, and sellers are still in full control. So now they're really bleeding it out, okay? So here now, so if you were looking to buy up there, now it's coming all the way down to our parallel channel down into here. So guys, that's why I was saying the buyers were not convincing. They were not showing any strength. So now we got to watch going into maybe 8 a.m. if there's a possible reversal, or are sellers going to just continue pushing this down? Okay, and it doesn't help when you got Besant over here just spitting out all of these things about China right here, and that's why gold could be taking a little bit of a dip right now. I'll get back to US 30 in a moment, but let's just watch what's going on with gold here. Okay, so big wick again. Here's the close in 2 minutes. So can they bring it back above there? If it closes below here, unfortunately this zone I'm going to make red. Okay, so big wick. Okay, and that wick hit that white line, that hourly white line that we on the hourly that we when we were doing a top-down analysis. Okay, so 60 seconds to go into the close. Okay, so let's see if they can push it back and close it above here. And then maybe going into 8 a.m., maybe we might see a possible reversal coming back up. 30 seconds to go into the close. So big rejection, but the sellers, they took it all the way down there to 32.75, new low of the day. There's a good rejection, but how will it close? Okay, let's see this. Okay, will we get momentum following off of this? So the buyers are buying it up, buying it up, buying it up. Can they open kind of bullish ignited in the green box and continue to go up? Here's 8 seconds to go. I might be looking to start a buy position off of this. Okay, but it did close right below that green zone. Okay, so we got to flip this red for the time being. Okay. See how it's bullish ignited, okay, but it's driving into a red zone. Okay, so how far up can it come in here? Will it be able to close above this? You know, if you're buying right now, you're buying off of this rejection wick, but you still have this big supply zone. Okay, so it drove right in there. They pushed it back down. I'm going to wait till 8 a.m. I'm going to follow this 5-minute candle very closely. Because 8 a.m. is going to open up in 4 minutes. So I don't want to kind of just go in right here and then they drop me back down. So I want to see now, is it going to build maybe like right around here? Okay, good response by the buyers. It's a big response, okay? So it came down there. So that we can clearly see that they really came down and grabbed liquidity down in there. Came up, big bullish, strong engulfing candle. Really, really strong, okay? That would have been a perfect scalp. I should have taken that. I didn't. Damn. That would have been a fantastic scalp, okay? Could have been in and out like 30 pips right there. Beautiful response by the buyers. Okay, but let's watch how this thing will close. Guys, just clues to the scalpers out there, you know. I know that there's some scalpers out there. When that came down, and then the response going back up right into the close, and as that candle opened, ignited, sometimes that's a clue to take that scalp. And even if you got 10, 20, 30, what was it? Around, let's say 79.47, and we're at 83. You could have got like 40 pips out of that, you know, just like that. And you could have been in and out, just following that big wick, that rejection, how they took out that low of the day, the liquidity, and just something like that. That's what kind of scalpers look for, okay? But we're looking to build off of this range. So what we got to do is we got to see how and where this thing will close. Because again, sellers could push it down. Where will it close? Maybe this is going to be the pronounced double bottom today, okay? Right around this zone in here. So let's watch how this thing is going to close now. Two minutes to go, and we're going in 8 a.m. And don't forget, 20 minutes is COMEX. Okay, so they brought it up there again. Remember this area, guys. This neutral area right here is that hourly consolidation. So they brought it right back in there, and the sellers rejected it back down. So how much of this bullish volume are we going to retain in this candle? We don't want to see it all exhausted. Okay, we want to retain some of this. We want to engulf some of these sellers behind us. It would be really nice if we could close it above there. We could close it above the 90 MA, close it back in that hourly consolidation, because sellers are still strong. Look how they absorbed that entire candle almost and pushing it right back down. But don't forget, it was an ignited bar open, okay? So now it's an inverted hammer candle. So that's what I mean too when I was saying, like, sometimes when you scalp a candle, if you get 10, 20, 30, 40 pips going up, you got to do something, because sometimes it could come all the way right back down. So that was specifically for the scalpers I was talking to. Okay, and now we got 30 seconds to go in the close, so we have to pay attention and watch who has momentum going into the close, because we're walking into 8 a.m. now. New hourly candle opening. Could be different market momentum, different market volatility coming up here. Okay, so here's the close. Did close with maybe half of its range with bullish volume. Opening up, look at the size of the wick too. Okay, so it's not a short wick like this one. It's a rather large wick. So the buyers, again, have to fill all that wick in order to break for a new high. So sellers are there, could reject it back down. We could be looking, if there is a pullback, can we tap into 50% of that bullish candle and at least hold it? We're now consolidating like in this range right here. I'd like to see if I can close it above here. It might come back down, back into this green zone. Okay, when things are building, it takes a while for things to build as well. Okay, so you see where we're consolidating now, right in here. And then just kind of watch what's being built going into COMEX too. You know, sometimes you just, if you're not in a trade, just continue watching. They came down. It's possibly coming up, but where's the neckline? Will it be right here, or will the neckline be up here? Okay, let's say for example the neckline is here. Maybe they'll push it back down, maybe a higher low, maybe a double bottom, going into like maybe COMEX, and then COMEX provides that bullish leg that could break through this resistance, or COMEX could come up here and be a fake out and then keep coming back down. Okay, so we got to watch how these bodies can close, where they can close. If you do go into a trade, just, you know, remember risk management. Okay, if you're looking anywhere inside here to physically take a buy, like up here, and you want to place your stop loss below the zone, you're 40 pips of 40 pips just to the green box. If you're placing your stop loss below that wick, you're 65 pips stop loss. So you have to know what size you're using, okay? Because now the range is opening up a little bit. So if you're gonna risk that much as a stop loss, I'm showing you how big the range is. You got to know what contract size you're using ahead of time, so you don't panic if the sellers push it right back down. And if you're giving it room to breathe, to build, that's how much room you got to give it to build. Otherwise, you got to go in with a tight stop. And if you do that, you're subject to getting stopped out. Okay, so you see they came up and then back down. That's what I was talking about. The size of the wick really does matter. It wasn't just a short wick. They could have popped and filled. They had to get it up there, and the sellers are still there. Lower high and bringing it right back down. It's not like a bearish engulfing candle taking back down our bullish bar. So is it going to reattempt in the green zone? Is it going to come back down under here? Is it going to hold? Will the buyers flip it back up? Man, gold is stubborn today. Samuel, who remembers that 1 minute 100 pip candle earlier this year? I remember those. Yep. They were even more than 100 pips. I saw one on US 30. It was a 230 pip 1 minute candle. I haven't seen that in years. 230 pip 1 minute candle. It was unbelievable. Years ago, the entire Dow Jones, you would be lucky if it moved 230 pips in an entire day of trading. Now, we're seeing 230 pip 1 minute candles. Times are different. Times are much different right now. Hey, but that's volatility, guys. You know, like anytime there's news in the markets, critical news like that, can affect things. Okay, so we got some news coming out of our Fed over here, Kashkara. Let's see. Official data so far reveals only modest impact of tariffs on prices. If the Fed cuts in September and tariff effect shows up, could pause rate cuts. Inflation boost is likely coming, but actual inflation indicates renewed progress towards 2% target. More time is needed to determine if effects of trade war are delayed or it will be a smaller than thought. Emphasis must be on actual inflation, real economic data without committing to an easing policy path in case tariff effects delayed. Okay, so that's coming from Fed's Kashkari. Okay, so now we're building maybe a double bottom with this ignited bar. So what I mean by a quick little double bottom by individual bars, it came down, back up, came down, is it coming back up just like this? Just like that, if you get that double bottom, you could possibly have the buyers fill those wicks again. Getting it back up to 32.83, but I want to see it close above here. I want to see it close, retest this, then we drive, okay? So, you know how we plotted this red zone from that 5 minute candle? You see how the sellers have been diverging away? But right here too, now there's a zone right here. Like, don't sleep on this zone right here. We got to see the buyers get it above this zone, okay? For us to get up to here and to here, we got to close above here. And so far, the buyers are just not there, right? They're trying, but we got to get it above here. This 32.80, 250, 32.83. Now they're coming back up. Okay, so they're building. It's building what I was saying, kind of like that double bottom where it came in, back up, came down, back up. We want to see it continue to come up here, maybe even an impulse break. Even an impulse, I'll welcome. Impulse, but close. And then we flip this and it could come back down. And then here are our buyers. Here's our depth of market building to take us up to here. And then same thing. If it breaks, maybe we retest green and then we're driving up back up to here. Okay. But it's just the buyers are not closing strong. They're there buying. They're buying down here, but they're just not closing strong. Okay. So there's no follow through. We always talk about this. Like Shaquille O'Neal on the free throw line. He can get to the free throw line, but he's horrible at free throws. I think his career average was 46% on the free throw line. So he's got no follow through. Right now, the buyers can buy the bottom, but they can't follow through when it comes down to closing. So it came up. If you're using your 9 EMA is your indicator. It's coming right up to the 9 EMA, and again, it's getting rejected back down. So maybe we got to wait. Maybe COMEX will change things up. Maybe that new, as soon as the commodities exchange opens up, maybe there's going to be some heavy gold buyers buying this dip. That's what we got to watch for, okay? Okay, so now you see that how that candle just broke down. You see the sellers want to come down here and attempt to take out more pending orders. But if there's a lot of pending buys in here, this candle should technically flip back up. It should get those orders, fill them, and flip back up. If the sellers are filling that wick and closing below, it still might have another leg to continue to drop down. Okay, see, it's coming right back down. If this body closes, unfortunately, again, this green zone is a red zone. We've seen all of these failed attempts. Right here, failed attempt. This was a failed attempt. There were those impulse buyers right there, failed attempt. This one that's building, it might be another failed attempt. Okay. So let's look for clues now. Are we going to get equal bottom lows? Yep. Okay, so far, like that wick and that wick are so far equal lows. These are bottom lows. Now we might be getting some clues going into COMEX here. Guys, and I'm looking for buys too, like I'm looking for buys, but I don't want to commit when the buyers are not closing strong. If I do go into a trade, like anywhere here, it's going to be a small speculating trade. I'll tell you guys straight up, because I'm not convinced that the buyers are pushing with conviction. So now look at the sellers are continuing to push new lows. Like they took out that low and continue to drop this. Wow. Okay. So a lot of holy shit. Okay. So it did close below there. Green to red, just going through the motions. No bias here. Just doing the robotic approach. Look at no wick, ignited bar dropping. So this white line is our next hourly point of interest. 3,271. Don't always just buy a falling knife. Okay, it's not a good habit to do that. We've got a white line here for a reason. Now, can the buyer show us strength and just close it back above that white line in order to build right up to there? Okay, but now something is happening prior to COMEX right here. They've broken it out of that red parallel channel. Okay, so you know that hourly channel that we had where it came all the way up, it came all the way down, tapped into that red line, back up, back up. Now they broke right through it. So you see the volume is under there. Now we're going to see, can the volume come back inside this parallel channel? And then it just kind of looks like a little dip, and then it comes right back in and builds back in the channel. If we're staying outside of the channel, it could continue to drop down even further, and then there'll be aggressive push downs. That's where like sellers will come in and liquidate the entire market down there. So can the buyers get it back in and recover and get it back into our channel? So from that previous low at 650, sellers have pushed it down an additional 70 plus pips from our previous low. Okay, so that's a substantial push down from from the low. Okay, and then if I'm looking as well at 50% of that bearish candle, I would say it's right around there, half of it, open, close, half. Can the buyers at least get it back above 50%, or are we going to still push down? The reason why I'm just getting rid of those red boxes is because I have a red line there. I have an hourly white line there. I just don't want too many zones. I want to keep the main one up here. I've got a point of interest right there, 50% of that 5-minute candle. I've got a point of interest right here on that hourly white line. So I just don't want it to be too many zones. Okay, and we're approximately 6 minutes away from COMEX market open. Did anyone attempt to buy off this bottom candle? Did anyone attempt to fill down here on a buy? It's okay, guys. Don't force trades. You don't have to force buys, okay? Just because a security dips and it keeps going down, I know it's a discounted price, but that still doesn't give us the right to just buy. Like, I want to buy gold right now because it's on a heavy discount, but I'm still watching these 5-minute candles. Like can it at least close above 50% of this? Can it at least close above that zone? That's all I was watching. Like, I want to get in on buys, but I wanted to buy here, I wanted to buy there, I wanted to buy here. But I'm just waiting for one candle to kind of just give me the confidence that the buyers can show some strength. They're buying the bottom, but they're getting pushed back down. It's like a big bully keeps pushing them down. They're fighting back, but the bully is strong and keeps pushing them down. So like I would love to buy, these are lovely discounts, but I don't want to just buy because it's on discount, continue going to further drawdown. So I'm like, this bar was a nice bar, and all I have marked right there is 50%. Can they at least close it above there? They came all the way up, but look, they even failed to close below 50% there. So in my opinion, the sellers are still in the market. They're still strong. Can the next bar here, going into this one, will kind of take us into COMEX? Can this one show some strength? Maybe getting above that 9 EMA. We still haven't even basically closed above the 9 EMA. So I know a lot of you guys use that indicator too. So the volume is still below the 9 EMA. This was something that I struggled with trading when I first started. I was always buying lows. I was always adding positions. I was in a buy here. I would add another buy there. I would add another buy there. Add another buy there. And it was just adding positions every time it kept dropping and go further and draw down, further and draw down, further. And then the market sometimes will just continue dropping and then eventually liquidate you until you can't hold anymore. And if you're using leverage, you're gonna get whacked in the markets. So sometimes, just if there's no convincing evidence to take a buy, don't take a buy. Just either sell with the market or just. I'm not selling, I'm not buying right now. I'm just waiting, right? And guys, we'll get to US 30 and NASDAQ in just a moment, okay? We'll do it more, so it'll only take me like 5 minutes. I'll do each chart. We already did half of US 30, so no stress there. We'll get to US 30 and NASDAQ. I'm going to stay longer with you guys today, okay? So we're going to go through Wall Street. we'll be here till at least 10:30 or 11 a.m. So we'll have plenty of time to look at the indices. But we've been watching gold this entire call, so I kind of want to stick with gold, especially going into COMEX. And I want you guys to see what I'm seeing, you know, and see how the market keeps dropping down. Maybe COMEX may turn things back up. Maybe COMEX will get us closing above here, maybe above this red box, and then sellers might push it back down, but maybe we can get a good higher low, maybe something building, and then gold might come back up. Okay. Okay, so we got about 2 more minutes to go into COMEX. Do I read YouTube comments? I do, Joker, once in a while. Yeah, if they're good comments, I'll read them. If they're silly comments, I don't really pay attention to them. Okay, guys, so get ready for COMEX, okay? So this is the exchange opening for gold and other precious metals, not just gold. But this is where we may see influx of volume coming in. So gold is trading relative to the low of the day. There it is. That's our big daily bar indicator. Look at how bearish the daily bar indicator is, okay? So, you know, if we're looking for buys, we are counter trading a massive daily move here. We're counter trading as well. So if it goes up 50 pips, 100 pips, don't be scared to take some money out of the market if you guys go into the money, okay? Because it's not always just gonna reverse and then this whole daily candle. It might come up a little bit, but it could go down. Okay, so open bearish ignited right now. So it definitely could push and take out these lows. And that next white line is another hourly point of interest at 3,271. So just keep in mind how it opened. Okay, now it flipped. We're barcoding. Bearish, bullish, bearish, bullish. Okay, so you don't have to buy right away. I know it's exciting watching right away. A blue candle, bullish. It's COMEX market open. I got to buy. I got to get in right away. But they could push it down. So you can give yourself rules too. You can wait for this bar to close. But if you feel like you want to buy now, just remember you're buying on impulse prior to this thing closing. Okay, so it could come up and then they could absorb it and continue to push it right back down. Okay, so again, if we're waiting for this bar to close and we're not taking an impulse trade, can it close above 50% of that previous bearish bar? We're getting up there again and they're rejecting it back down. Can it at least close above there? Can we get this bullish bar at least closing above that 9 EMA? Maybe back up into this zone. Okay, and then I use my white line as my hourly point of interest, and I can see when it came down there, we've got bodies and wicks in there. So maybe this could be where we've got good support now forming in the market. And the reason why I did that is there's my white line from our previous top-down analysis when we started the call. So I use that as my point of interest, and I just bring it up to where there's a body and a body, and I see a wick, a wick, a wick that came in there. So will it reverse back in here? If it does, that could be our support. So we have a nice candle coming out of COMEX. The first 2 minutes, it's completely engulfing everything behind us now. But again, it's follow through, follow through. We've been saying that this entire call. The buyers have bringing it up, but then it went back down. They brought it up here, it went back down. This candle, they brought it back up, and then it went back down. This candle was coming up, and then they brought it right back down. Now with COMEX, it's coming right back up. But can we retain this momentum, close above specific levels? Can we maybe catch a pullback off of this big bullish volume? That's what we're looking for, okay? If you went in on this, fantastic. It's a beautiful bounce, okay? Good candle. You're in good profit. You know, you could have taken out 80% of that. You can hold it. You can do whatever you want, okay? But I'm mainly looking for when this thing closes, where it closes and how it closes. Okay, so it came right back up to the top of the red zone. There's a rejection, and the sellers are absorbing them and pushing it right back down. So now it's how will it close? We got approximately 90 more seconds to go. Okay, so can we at least close above that 9 EMA? Can we at least close above 50% of that bearish bar? Or are the sellers going to continue to push this thing right back down? Okay, so remember, the last 30 seconds is very, very important. You can watch the last 30 seconds here. Who will have momentum going into the close in the last 30 seconds? Okay, so a good push. Okay, we're back above 50% of that candle. We're back above the 9 EMA. We're coming near the high of our own candle here. And this is the first 5 minutes at COMEX. And don't forget, we're going into 8:30, and there is some US red folders at 8:30 as well. Okay, so just keep that in mind. 50% of this big bullish bar, like if you just grab your Fibonacci tool real quick, opening, closing price, you see it's relative to where that previous red line was, where it was 50% of that bar. We're right inside there. So any pullbacks, if you want to buy pullbacks, you want to buy somewhere relative to this red line. A little bit above, a little bit below if you like. Okay, but pullback buys could be coming in here. If it will retain the majority of this volume. So right now it just opened and it came down, it's coming down. Okay, will it grab a wick at the 9 EMA or will it come a little deeper down into this green zone? Okay, and remember, if we take a trade, it is going into the news as well. Okay. Okay, good flip, hammer candle. Okay. Okay, so it's coming down. I'm going to look to maybe potentially buy this if it can come right back up. Okay, I'm going to go on a buy. I like the retest. Okay, I'm going to place my stop loss now. Let's see. Maybe like I'm not gonna. Maybe I should. I'm going to go all the way down below our green zone. I'm giving it more room to breathe. We are going into news. Maybe we do have a pronounced bottom, and I'm looking for it to come all the way back and trade into 50% of that red zone up there. Okay, so I'm gonna buy on gold. I like that big bullish candle. Okay, it came. I wanted more of a retest inside here, but I got that shallow pullback, so I'm in. And then let's just measure the move. Okay, so if it can get just back up to that, to fill these wicks right up here, that's about 25 pips. If it can get back up to our red line up there, we're looking about 50 to 60 pips up there, okay? And then full kind of move could be up there, that's 90 to 100 pips. But it might take some building too. It might not just be a blue candle that just goes right through here. I would love that if that's the case, but it might have to pull back down, higher low here. It might have to be a double bottom down in here. And we're going into news at 8:30, guys. So news, just keep in mind, we got the core PCE price index coming out in 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Okay, so that's consumers. That directly affects the US dollar. So let's see if we get a good little push, maybe even prior to the news. Okay. 2 minutes to go. And also, if we get a closing body, a blue volume above here, we might be able to flip this red zone green for the time being. And maybe this will give us some support here. Okay, so guys, just remember this news over here, okay? So core PCE, what is it? Real quick, change in price of goods and services purchased by consumers, excluding food and energy. Okay, so core PCE inflation expected to rise slightly. We'll see what the actual numbers are here, okay? So it's going to be released in about 1 minute and 15 seconds. And if this bar fails to close above here, and we're still in this red kind of zone, it could get that next leg coming down, looking for maybe a higher low here, and then like kind of double bottom down in here. Okay, so we got a spin top. It did initially come up here, come back down. Got the volume still inside this zone right here. So we'll watch and see what this thing does here. Okay, 20 seconds to go into the close. Okay, so you got some buyers coming in right at last seconds here. Let's see the close. Bullish spin top close. Okay, close bear spin top right at the last second. So sellers sold it right down into the close. We got now 8:30. We got the news. Can we grab a wick right here quickly at that green box, which we just picked up? Now, can we flip our bar into a hammer and start to fill our previous wick and start driving up here? Or remember, it's ignited, so the buyers are flipping it, but it's coming back down. So it came down a second time there and they flipped it back up. So this is when we want to turn our candle into a bullish pin bar and maybe drive. So 3 times now it came up here, and then sellers are still there. Can we just flip the candle and then just drive with this? Okay, so you see how they're still holding it down with that bearish head. So if they're still holding it down and we can't break it above there, it'll come down and reattempt this green zone. And if they break it, then we're coming down a little lower down into here, where there could be that double bottom. But if it continues selling off, my stop loss is just below there. I'm not taking any more of this ride down. Okay, so we failed to hold that green zone. Core PCE price index 0.2%. Okay, so a little more here. So 0.2, the results are in right there. 0.2, okay. So that's bad, like that's not good for the US dollar. So maybe gold is just coming back down in here. We should see gold going bullish with a bad, weak US dollar. So maybe they're coming down, grabbing the last bit of pending orders down there, and maybe this candle will reverse. going into the next bar. Okay, because right now gold is moving in tandem with a weak dollar. Gold is selling off right now. Normally we see the opposite effect. Okay, so we're coming back down to the previous hourly trend line, the bottom of that red line. Will it hold some support here? Okay, so we got a good wick. We got the volume back above the green box. Again, guys, we've been saying this the whole call is how it closes, the follow through. So sellers are still in control of this bar of the candle. You can tell how it opened, and they have the majority of the volume. So it's going to take a lot of effort for buyers to flip this bar. Okay, but the close is where it's at. The close is where it's at. Okay, so it's good rejection on buyers, but again, I'm not convinced until they close it strong back above here. Okay. Okay, so it's now this hanging man candle. We're pushing it right back, but it still has this bearish head. Can we just flip this, turn it into a bullish pin bar, and start getting it back above 32.80? Even a close above here, just by a little bit of blue volume, we could open ignited on our next bar and drive right through here. So we're right back in. Okay, so they brought us down. It was moving in tandem with a weak US dollar. So in my opinion, they came down there to pick up some pending last minute orders. They picked them up now. Now it's just up to the buyers how they close it out. That's all it is now. It's on the buyer's part. The sellers have done their job. Now it's up to the buyers to prove to us that they're strong up here, and still they're showing weakness. We still have 1 minute to go on this bar, but definitely if we can't close blue on this candle, I guarantee you the sellers will bring it right back down in here because they sense weakness on the buyers. So we got to close this strong and squeeze all these sellers out of here, because all these sellers that are selling, their stops are all above here. Okay, so remember, the last 30 seconds tells us everything. Can we finally get a strong close in the last 30 seconds? Because all we've seen is weak closes on the buyer's part this entire call. So this is a weak close on buyers. You allow the sellers come back down. Again, ignited bar. So, you know, in my opinion is there could be two bottoms down in here or my possible stop loss. I'm not convinced that the buyers are here unless they can get some higher lows, but they're pretty weak, guys, because we have a weak US dollar and the gold buyers can't even close it above here. Okay, so guys, that's my stop loss down there. I'm probably going to get stopped out of this, but I don't want to stay with a fallen knife coming down here. I'll verbally let you guys know as soon as I get stopped out. I'm still holding it right now, but I'll let you guys know as soon as I get stopped out. I'm hanging on by a thread. Just letting you guys know I'm still in it by a thread, but very likely gonna get stopped out. Still in it, still holding it. I think this attempt, they're gonna take me out of here. hanging on to that hourly support by a couple pips here, but I'm still holding it. That hourly support is still holding. Still holding it, but it's very likely going to get me stopped out of here. Now, this attempt is probably going to take me out. Okay, I got stopped out there. That's it. Yeah, I'll look again, but I got stopped out there. I'm not going to catch a knife if it falls through there. That's good enough. Yeah, I got stopped out there. It's okay. I'll come back if the buyers are showing strength. They're weak right now, guys. They're weak. That was even on a weak US dollar. They couldn't even close it above there. That shows how weak they are. It's got to continue to build, or sellers will just come in and just start taking this down. Okay, guys, soon we're going to look at NASDAQ and US 30. We're going to move slowly away from gold. We spent enough time on this thing today. Okay, so this is going to close in 20 seconds. So that was a good attempt for the buyers to close it above there, and they failed. Okay, so they failed the assignment up there. Sellers sensed weak buyers and came in and kept pushing this thing down. Okay, it's unfortunate, but that's the way the markets move. Okay, so sorry guys, I haven't been paying attention to too much of the comments here, because just watching the candles. If you guys have any questions, okay, so maybe 8-second attempt down here where all of this was one bottom. Okay, so we can see now where the neckline is, right there where we tried to buy out of there. They failed. So it's coming back down in the green zone. Will the buyers be here again and bring it back up? That's your traditional double bottom W. And then breaking our neckline, get it back up there, retesting this. That will be for a later opportunity today. So what I do is I'll place an alert back in that zone right there if it gets back up there to let me know. But right now, again, it came up to about 50%, rejected, and shooting star candle coming down. They could definitely take this out and drop it back down into here. Okay, so sellers are strong still. Sellers are strong and buyers are weak. And then put that together, and that's why you got this continuing trend pushing down. Okay, so I'm watching. Sorry, guys. So I've been watching this white line right here because that was an hourly point of interest. That's where I had my stop loss placed below there. It got tagged, but I'm just watching to see if this is still holding, which it technically still is. But just the buyers can't even close above anything up here. So it's very likely that this hourly support will be broken. But I'm just trying to see real quickly if it will hold going into the new 15-minute candle in about 90 seconds here. Okay, so they're about to break it. Okay, so we got a new low. Wow. So new lower lows, lower highs in the markets. We're still trending down. The daily bar indicator is a massive daily bar with the wick now. So we are at the low of the day here. And if this closes below here, this green zone flips red. And then I'm going to do some charting on NASDAQ and US 30 for the time being. I don't want to stick with gold all day here. We're going to do some other securities too. And please, guys, if you are trading, you can see the size just of this range, okay? Just from this low back up to this red zone, you can see it's about 80. The whole range is about, from that wick to that wick, 100 pips. So if you're trading inside here with 10 pip, 20, 30 pip stop loss, it's kind of too tight. You'll probably get taken out unless you nail the trade with minimal to zero drawdown. So I suggest if you're going to trade in here, you can see the size of the volume of base of the candles. Again, bigger, the volatility is there. The range is about 100 plus pips. So just keep in mind, if you are trading in here, whether you are buying or selling, that you need to use a substantial amount of stop loss, that you need to decrease your sizing down. I want to make that clear to everybody. Unless you want to go in with a larger size with a smaller stop, you got to nail it correctly. Otherwise, you're gonna get possibly stopped out, and with leverage, you're gonna lose more than you expected probably. Okay, so that bar closed below. That green zone is no longer green; it's red. Buyers are now buying back into resistance. So they got to get it above, go through that resistance, and now close it back above there. We're still below the 9 EMA. We got it above the 9 when we took that buy there, but it was just short-lived, and then they took us right back down. So we'll watch how this thing continues to build. I just want to finish off US 30, what I was doing. Okay, so US 30, we were doing a different top down. We just put our daily bar indicator. We saw it opened ignited, very bullish. So what I'm doing is just marking out some structural zones on the 5 minutes throughout. And again, I can see where it kind of topped up here. Okay, so this will be going into Wall Street for us. Okay, right there where it kind of topped out. It came in, you see it came back in, pushed down, came in, pushed down, came in, pushed down, we're coming back in. That's a red zone up there, okay, right above our high of the day. We can clearly see now, the high of the day is right there. The wick on the daily bar indicator, purple line. What time did we hit it at? 8 a.m. Eastern. We hit it and it just came down, okay? So this would look like a massive double top where it came up. There's the neckline, green box. Came back up. Let's say all of this cluster of all of this volume represents a second top and it comes back down. If you break this, we could drop down to that zone. If it holds here, this might be a really good area to look for buys today and maybe take it back up through here, okay? So we've got some zones available for us here now. Just stretch them into the future because we're going to be going into Wall Street and later trading today if you're going to continue to trade. Now, just like right around here, we've got some points of interest being just built right here. Right over here, the structural level. This is kind of representing 50% of this bullish candle right here at 715. It's already retested, held, pushed us up to the high of the day. We've retraced all the way down where they broke it, but then look at where the volume closed. Again, right at the red line, open at the red line, broke it, higher low, coming back up, retesting it, still holding. So this red line, 43,555, is a point of interest of support on the 5 minutes. And if I just use my zone, that red line, I can draw a zone a little bit above, a little bit below to give myself more of a zone than just a line of point of interest. Okay, so if it kind of continues to hold this, we got buyers holding this higher low, higher low, higher low. We could come back up, attempt to break for a new high of the day, but if we lose this, we could easily fill that wick and start dropping back down to this zone. Okay, so that's US 30. Again, if you want to add indicators, we're right at the 9 EMA. We are above the 200 EMA right now for US 30. Okay, so we'll leave Dow like that. What we'll do is we'll do the same thing with NASDAQ. We'll get NASDAQ ready, and then we'll have NASDAQ and US 30 side by side, and we also have gold all by itself right over here. Okay, so I'll come back to NASDAQ. We still have a good 40 minutes until Wall Street market opens. So I'll come back and do that. Let's just watch this gold candle to see if we can get something developing up here. Okay, so last minute of this gold candle will close. And then I'll finish off NASDAQ. And then 9 a.m. is going to be indices time. Okay, guys? So we're going to watch both of those indices going into Wall Street. We'll keep peeking at gold, but we've spent enough time on gold today. You know, sometimes when we go off the charts, it gives good setups, but I can say sometimes when the opposite is true too. Sometimes when we stick with this and we go to another one, but sometimes when I stick with gold, then kind of the indices make good moves. So we can debate that all day here, but we got to see some other securities too. Okay, so again, so it dropped, it closed right at the zone, still didn't close above. We can give the benefit of the doubt that it closed strong. You can flip it if you like, you know, and see if it continues to build in here. But I got an alert if it gets up there, so I'll let it continue to consolidate. What we'll do now is we'll do NASDAQ, okay, and then we'll focus our attention on NASDAQ and US 30 here. Okay, so let's do the same with NASDAQ. Okay, on the 5 minutes, it's probably pretty similar to US 30. So what I do is when I'm doing a quick analysis, I have my daily bar indicator. I can see we opened right there. I can see the low. So, you know, points of interest. There's my point of interest where NASDAQ opened, yellow line. When it opened, it was initially bearish. It came down. There's the low of the day, 22,471 is the low of the day, okay? You can go back right now and just look when it tapped in there, exactly what time the low of the day was. It was, in fact, 21:30 military time, right there. That's when we hit the low of the day. We came back to the opening price. It was very, very, very bullish today, where we came all the way up. We hit our high of the day. What time? 8 a.m. Eastern, we hit the high of the day, okay? So there's our purple high. Since then, you can see since 8 a.m., it's been retracing back down. Lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, and a lower low. Look at this structural zone right now where we're trading into. This block right here. If I made a block right there, you can see it came in here, back up, came in here, back up, came in, back up, came in, back up, and broke through there. So we're coming right back into it as I'm speaking, okay? So if it breaks, where could it go? Our next zone is right here, right over here. You can see where there was resistance, all in here, okay? Red zone right there. Okay, came in, back down, came in, back down, came in, back down, stretch it into the future. Again, it came in there, two tops, back down. There it closed above, so then we can flip that zone green now. If we can't hold the green zone we're trading in currently, then the next one below us could hold us. And then if it needs to come back down to the opening price and the low of the day, our bigger green zone right there, that would be prime area to be buying down there. But maybe we don't get a chance to come down there. So this could be attempt number one. This is the better attempt right here, and it's representing 50% of the volume base in the candle. That would be the absolute best area to buy near the low of the day down there if it gets down there, okay? So right now we are in this current trend from 8 a.m. We're at 9 a.m. So this hourly trend is bearish. Lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. Do we have some type of structure on these 5-minute candles? Yes, we do. Right over here, you know, you got a body, a body, a body, and then it comes over here. It closes above. It acted as support right there. You see that where those 4 candles came down, stopped right at the red line. You got that big bullish one that came back up, but then the sellers closed it back below there. And look at how it's retesting that red line and continuing to push down. So 22,563 is a point of interest. I'm going to place an alert up there. If it dips down in here, again, where could it dip down to? Right there could be a point of interest. I'm going to place myself an alert right here too if it gets down there. Okay, so just adding EMAs. 9, we are currently below the 9, so it's bearish on the lower time frames. EMA 200 is all the way here, right in, conveniently placed, right in 50% of the volume of the daily candle in our green zone. That would be prime area to look for buys inside there. Okay, so we'll leave these two side by side, NASDAQ and US 30 right over here. Okay, so we'll leave these two side by side like this. Is it okay, clear for everyone to see 2 charts side by side? Okay, and we'll follow these going into 9 a.m. in the next 5 minutes. Just looking at gold again. So gold came back, impulse, pushing right back down. Let's see if it will continue to build. But also NASDAQ and US 30 going into 9, okay? Is anyone in any trades on the indices now? Are you, well, let's just talk specifically for the first one. Dow Jones, US 30. Is anyone in a buy or sell currently? No? Okay, so no one. What about NASDAQ? Is anyone speculating with NASDAQ right now? Anyone testing out a buy? Is anyone in a sell right now? No? Okay, so then we can analyze these together. I'm not in any one of these myself. Okay, we got a SST sell signal on US 30, 43,562. Okay, so like right around here. So what we'll do is we'll see if this small zone right here, if it can continue to hold that selling pressure right here. Let's see, okay. Because if the sellers can break this zone, could easily fill that wick, and have a further drop down into here. Okay, so let's just see if this kind of area holds back up, but because it could still be building. Came down, back up, came down, higher low with a new higher high, came back in. You got higher low, higher low, higher low building. So definitely still looks bullish in here. But we're going into 9 a.m. also in the next 3.5 minutes. Okay, so keep an eye on that. New 9 a.m. candle, new hourly open in the markets. Gold, guys, still came down there and closed below. So unfortunately, guys, I know you guys, some of you guys are still buying gold. That still is representing a sell zone. You know, now it's barcoding. Bearish, bullish, bearish, bullish. Okay. Again, no follow through on the buyers to close above either the 9 EMA, back into that trend line, back above here. So maybe 9 a.m. might be the time where we might see gold start its move back up. Okay. So I'm going to kind of flip flop between both of these charts, guys. This is our index chart with US 30 and NASDAQ, and we can flip back to gold back and forth, okay? But 9 a.m. is a real critical time in the markets. Okay, let's just go through the news really quickly again, so just so we don't miss anything. The 9:15, we're going to have a few members speaking, Cook and Hammock, so you'll see here on Financial Juice exactly what they're talking about. Then as we open 9:30 Wall Street, we got some 10 a.m. news. So I'll be here with us. We're going to stay a little later on today's call, and hopefully we can find something out of here. Okay, so if I'm just following from this high of the day right now and just coming down, we are in this bearish channel coming down, okay? So we're currently trading right at the dotted line. We'll see if we can close it below here and continue to push down further. However, we'll see if maybe it flips back up and breaks this, then it could be driving right back up to the high of the day. Same with NASDAQ. We can see the last hour, it's been pushing down like this, okay? So one more minute to go, and then we're going into 9 a.m. Okay, so here we go into 9. Okay, so still showing bearish momentum. Okay, gold still bearish, okay? Gold is still running down. Okay, so it's opening bullish for 9 a.m. First 30 seconds. Again, lower high, lower high, lower high. Okay, so we got a bearish shooting star candle maybe forming to break this point of interest and maybe continue dropping down. So I'm watching this for maybe a potential continuation sell on US 30 to continue to break this green zone if it gets down to this red line around 43,555 back down into here. Yep, I'm going to enter. I'm going to test out a quick little sell to see if it can break and fill these wicks down in here. Stop loss. I'm going to place it right, you know, I'm looking 50% of here. And then to see if it can fill down into here, okay? So I'm just going to test out to continue to sell with this momentum coming down and see if I can get protection by this red block right above here, okay? And maybe if it can trade down into here. Okay, so I'm in a sell on US 30. Just seeing if it will continue to break down this green zone. Maybe close with some bearish volume below here. Ah, man, it's tough. Buyers are still holding this green zone. Trading with a tight stop loss, okay? I'm just testing this out prior to Wall Street, just to see if this selling pressure, if this block can hold. Normally I would maybe, you know, give more breathing room, but I'm just going to give up to here, okay? So my stop is like right around that psychological level, 43,574, 575, right in there. NASDAQ is breaking down. Okay, so NASDAQ is breaking down. Again, if you're in NASDAQ, just watch for this body to close below here. Then you can flip that green zone red, and you could use that as protective resistance to continue to push down. Just notice that the 200 EMA is right in that green box, right there, if it gets down there, okay? Maybe I picked the wrong security. Maybe I should have been selling NASDAQ. But I stick with Miss Jones. And guys, in about 10 minutes, I'm just going to take a quick little break because we're going to go longer. We're going to go till about 10:30, 11. So I'm just going to take a quick break and then I'll be back, regardless whatever happens in this trade here. Yeah, so we got this kind of indecision candle. We've retested the red zone, got rejected. Can we get some closing volume below here? Last 40 seconds to go. We got a nice bearish push on NASDAQ. So following NASDAQ, again, if it closes below, just flip the green to red. Okay, 30 seconds to go. Really pushing it down. And if it gets down into here, okay, that's where your 200 EMA is and your green box down in there, and we'll see what happens, okay? But just go through the motions. US 30 hasn't caught up yet. Okay, so I'm going to assume NASDAQ is going to close below here. So I'm going to go ahead and change the green to red because we got 4 seconds to go. I'm assuming it's closing below there. Okay, so it actually even closed below that red line. So that red line came from previous support right over here. So it could be resistance and we could continue push down. If you're in a trade on NASDAQ, I would look at where 50% of that bar is, locate that zone. That's a big bar in case it retraces back into there and it gets rejected and continues push down. Right now, US 30 is having a difficulty breaking this green zone. Okay, so you got another bearish ignited pop, low wick, and a drop. Wow, NASDAQ was real clean. NASDAQ filled those zones, okay? So if it breaks green zone, what you need to do is kind of ahead of time is look below the green zone. You see right there where it made a double bottom right there. Just locate that area, just in case, right there. Where it made one bottom, came back up, second bottom, right back up. And look at the number 42,498, 42,500, that psychological number area, okay? If it does break later, this green box, and drops down to there. So it came down to the top of the green box and got a big response. US 30, it's trading back in here. Guys, I'll let you guys know if I do get stopped out. Again, right up there. Okay, so it's still got a lot of sellers absorbing this area up here. But again, the topic of today's session was follow through, how it closes. Okay, so we're seeing multi-rejections by sellers in here, in here, in here, in here, in here, again on this candle. But it's the follow through. We're not getting that bearish bar closing below this green box. Every time it trades in here, the buyers are there pushing it back up. So this entire call is all about follow through. With gold, the buyers weren't following through. With either NASDAQ or US 30, it's can the sellers follow through? They're rejecting it at these zones. They're there selling it, but when they get down here, they're not following through and closing it with conviction. So that's the lesson of today's call, is the close of the candle and the follow through. Okay, so I'm still in the sell, but I got to see it close below this green box, 43,550. What's going on with gold? You guys, yeah, gold dipped right down in there. I'm kind of not looking at gold right now, but I will glance at it. Let's just see if we get a US 30 bar close below here. We have a shooting star candle. Okay, so that's a good push, but again, it's how it closes. And notice the time. We have about 2 more minutes to go. So we already broke that low. Will this be enough volume to take out that previous low? But more importantly, I want to see if this bearish volume will close below this green zone. So that technically I can change that green zone to a red zone. And if it pulls back, the sellers are now bidding to short it down in here, and maybe we can drop it down a little further. But the buyers could just buy it right back up, and we're trading right back in here again. Okay, we're still in this consolidated zone, but I want to see if it will really kind of push down through here. Okay, so last 60 seconds. Here we go, last minute. Can we get that push? Again, where my dotted line is, can we take out that low? I'd like to see if we can do it with this volume right now, with this bar. And then that would make a new lower low in the market. That would definitely change the depth of market for buyers and sellers that are pending in the market. Definitely interrupt the flow, the order flow, if we can break new lows. Just like how gold kept breaking new lows, that interrupted the depth of market, changed up everything, changed all those pending orders. You got NASDAQ continue to push down, right down to that 200 EMA in that green zone. So we'll see if NASDAQ can continue to close into it. And if Miss Jones can kind of just get her legs moving here and catch up. Okay, so there's the close. It didn't take out that low, but we did close below that green zone. So we can go through the motions, green to red. It's a bullish ignited candle coming right back up. So this is a retest candle. Doesn't surprise me. Coming into maybe retest. 50% of that bearish candle is right around here. So we got our rejection. Short wick, notice that. So it doesn't take too much to flip our previous wick and then drive into that one and drop down to where my red line is. But you still see how it's holding that bullish ignited open. So it came back up, sellers absorb them again. It's bullish. It's still got that bullish head. So we got to flip that candle, turn it into a bearish pin bar or a shooting star. We got to get rid of that blue volume, that early open. First 45 seconds are holding this candle very strong. It's coming back up. Our sellers are there absorbing it, rejecting it, but again, it came down there again and it held its bullish ignited open, you know. So sometimes when we're in buys, when we buy bullish ignited candles, you see how strong they are. So it's coming right back up now to retest our red zone. Okay, so you see how strong that candle was from the open and how it's still holding its open. Okay, so it's not easy to break structure. It's not easy to break strong opening candles. It takes a lot of momentum to do that. Okay, so it came back into that zone that we flipped that was initially green. We flipped it red. So we're trading back into it. The sellers are still there. They're showing us because of the wick. They're absorbing those buyers and exhausting them and pushing it back down. Again, it's an inverted hammer candle. We're getting back down to relative to the open, but it's still holding bullish. So when it comes down there, again, it's hitting those pending buyers and they're still filling the candle back up. So we really gotta hit the sells down in here and bid to trade down in there. Otherwise, it's still holding bullish, and this candle could continue to build and start engulfing our previous selling volume, and this could potentially start to reverse. Gold, guys, yeah. Some of you guys are asking for gold, gold, well, like, what do you want me to tell you? It's still going down. It came back up, bearish ignited candle, continuing pushing down. It's still bearish. Right there is a yellow line, okay? So 3,260, that's a daily point of interest. That's not an hourly, that's not a 5-minute zone right there. A little bit above, a little bit below, like that's a serious level, okay? If the buyers don't show up right there, I don't know what to say. It'll continue dropping down, but should see a bottom pronounced in there. That's a daily position. Oh, beautiful retest now on. Look at now we flipped on US 30. Okay, so you see how we finally flipped that bullish open. We turned it into a bearish pin bar. Okay, so now we've got a minute 43. So the sellers now have taken momentum in the second half of this candle. Remember when it opened bullish ignited, and for the first 2 minutes it was bullish, bullish, bullish. The sellers kept rejecting it. Look at where the rejection occurred, where we flipped the green box red because of that bar that closed below. So we got a proper retest and coming down now. So if we can take out that low right now, which we just did, now it's up to how the sellers finish off this candle. The lesson of today's call is follow through. Follow through. Can they follow through and close it with nice bearish volume below here? Maybe open a next bar bearish ignited and continue dropping down? Or is it just break that low, catch a wick, buyers coming back up, and then we're coming right back up for a pullback? And NASDAQ is trying to break this green zone right at that 200 EMA. Okay, and then we're going into the last 30 seconds of the candle. Okay, so you can see who opened the candle, who had momentum, buyers. They came up, sellers were absorbing them. It kept coming up, sellers were absorbing them, kept coming up. And then sellers, when I just flipped to gold and I came back here, that's when they broke it. Okay, so sellers now are in control of this candle going into the close. But can they close it with strong conviction? Close it near the low, close it below this wick, close it below a previous support level. Okay, so there's our close. Okay, look at that. Before I could even open my mouth, as soon as that candle opened, it was just bullish ignited, just popped right up. Okay, so we got to rely on our resistance here. Is there enough sellers there in the depth of market to absorb that big bullish candle? Okay, again, it's coming up, retesting the red zone again. So a lot of strength over here, having a difficulty breaking this level. Okay, so this could be a pullback. It could definitely start coming right back through here. Okay, so I still have my stop loss above there. I haven't adjusted my risk in this trade yet. It was just in a little bit of profit, but okay, it dropped down 14 pips. I was looking for 20 plus down in here, so still holding it right back to almost where I entered. So it's back to break even. Could put me in a little bit of drawdown as well. And guys, we're 14 minutes away from Wall Street. I said I was going to go take a break just to stretch a little bit, but I didn't intend on getting in a trade here, but we'll see. We'll hold this out. I'll just pee my pants. No worries, guys. I'll just pee my pants here for you guys. Okay, again, another solid rejection in the red box. But remember, the opening candle, it opened ignited bullish and just drove right up there. And we got rejected. Okay, so we got to break that opening momentum again, just like the previous bar. The previous bar was a bullish ignited bar, came up. They brought it, but they broke for a low. This one is still holding its strength. Again, the sellers sold it down. The buyers just brought it right back up. So this is the range we're trading in right now. 13 minutes to go prior to Wall Street. And we'll see if whoever holds momentum here. So far the sellers are still relatively respecting this red zone up here. But just these candles have strong openings. Okay. Oh man, this candle is teasing us. Okay, so the sellers brought it all the way down there, that inverted hammer, and boom, they shot it right back up. So this is the volatility prior to Wall Street market open. That's why sometimes I do not like to be in trades prior to Wall Street, because things like this happen. Like it might sell off in Wall Street, but they'll come up, you know, maybe attack some stop losses up here, hit some pending orders, and then take the market down. That happens, but if that happens, you know, I get stopped out and I can trade with Wall Street. I don't need to continue just to raise my stop loss and just go with that theory, because if that doesn't happen, then I'm losing more than I intended when I took this trade. So I gave it more than enough room to breathe up there. And gold, guys, yeah, just a little recap of gold. Okay, so remember what I said there, right around here. That's a yellow line, 3,260. That's a daily point of interest. Like I said, it's not an hourly, it's not a 5-minute. That's a daily. So we'll see if that can kind of hold, and maybe that might start maybe some momentum to the upside on gold. Maybe, okay? Big rejection again. Okay, can we flip this bar? Just take out this ignited open. My goodness, this is a strong, like that price right there, 43,543 and 99 cents on Dow Jones. When they open that, they aren't playing. They have not. They haven't broke that open yet. So those are big rejections coming down there, just like our prior candle did. But it's failing to take that out. Strong buyers are holding this. They're holding this. They could be holding it going into Wall Street. That's why this would be a significant breach. If they can break this, if sellers can break this low, we could see further down to the downside. Because I can see that they are protecting this big time right now. And we're 10 minutes away from the street open. There's the close. So we got an inverted hammer. So again, selling pressure has to do their work to continue to engulf that bullish open and continue to take it down. This candle is strong, bullish, open, but we do have a big wick above us. So those buyers got to drive up that wick, and hopefully sellers can continue to protect this red zone and push it down. But, you know, I might get stopped out, guys, prior to Wall Street. Like I was saying, it could come up in the next 5-10 minutes. Take out these highs, okay, that's my stop there, and then maybe they could bring it down, but I'm not intending to wait for that. If it happens now, but I hope it doesn't. But if that's the case, that's my stop right up there at 575. Because then Wall Street, if it gets up there, you know, if it takes out my stop and closes and then retests this and drives, I'm not taking a further loss in Wall Street. No way, Jose. It's more than enough. Another solid rejection in the red zone. Okay, so keep in mind those rejections. That's why it's red zone for a reason. But it's just showing how much strength is right here. Just right here. Just right there. That little green zone right there. That's how much strength there is holding the entire Dow Jones right now. Sure, you're not in any trades right now. Probably a good idea. Probably a good idea. Okay, so we're getting our rejections. Rejection, rejection, rejection. Maybe we're going to need that Wall Street volume to penetrate and break through there, but you guys know the drill. You guys know how it works. They're probably going to come up here, take out all of the seller's stop losses, including myself, and then maybe bring it down. However, if the market wants to move down, it's not too far away from breaking this level. But let's see. The rejections are there because I'm again rejected there, rejected there, rejected there. Buyers are probably getting frustrated as well with all these rejections. They probably want the bar to be closed above here by now. But that's how trading works, guys. There is buyers here. And gold, yeah, you guys love gold. Yeah, gold is still bearish, guys. Like just go through what I say every single day. 50% of that, has it closed above? No. The next one is your points of interest right here, body to body. Has it closed above there? No. It's breaking that important daily yellow line I talked about. So if it closes below there, you got to flip this red. Like gold is just bleeding right now. They're just counter buys. They're getting caught in there. Okay, so multi rejections. Like there's a big selling block up there. I'm part of that selling block. I'm happy, but we gotta break this and get some confirmed closing volume. The whole lesson of today's call has been follow through. Can US 30 sellers follow through and close below there? They're not doing their part. They're protecting this, but they're not closing below support levels. Same with gold. We're talking about the buyers. The buyers are buying everywhere, but they're not closing it above any critical structure. So today's lesson is follow through. And then again, it opens bullish ignited. Another strong opening bar coming back up. This one now is very important bar because this is 5 minutes going into Wall Street. So this is when a lot of fireworks can happen now. 5 minutes going in. So again, we got rejected, lower high, rejected, red zone. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 rejections. That's like good when we're in a sell position. That's what you want. But again, the follow through, the sellers, the buyers have a higher low, bullish ignited bar, a higher low. We got to kind of get it closed below there. Then it can bleed out. But like all of this accumulation of these sellers, they still have not released this delta sell volume down into here. So it's hard to say what will happen during Wall Street. I hate being in a trade prior to Wall Street because lots of things happen. I try and wait for Wall Street. This one I got in this trade, I believe it was 10 after 9. So I've been in this for about close to 15 minutes. But this is a good bar. We're taking out that low. But again, it's follow through, follow through, follow through. Can they close it below there? Will I be able to flip this zone red and we build off of that and continue pushing down? But let's see. So good target now would be to trade into all of this cluster of volume down in here. Okay, that would be about 25 pips. If it can get down in there, 25 pips, I'm going to take my stop loss and go to break even prior to Wall Street if it gets down there. But we'll see what happens here. Okay, again, they broke it down. So we did make a new low. Okay, that's important. So they did break for a new low, and then the buyers are obviously buying it right back up. Okay, but where will the follow through of the candle close? Will this bearish volume come back down and close below that green box? Or is this candle going to flip and then Wall Street market opens up and it's coming up bullish through here? Okay, so again, it's going to be all about follow through. If you guys are in this trade with me and you want to go to a break even prior to Wall Street and you want to protect you do what you got to do, like I might be making a mistake myself not doing that, but I'm going to let this thing ride. Okay, and now we have 2.5 minutes to go. Okay, so this is now buyers. No follow through with the sellers down there. It was a nice, beautiful candle coming down. It's not how it looks when it opens and where it moves. It's how it closes. Lesson for today, how a bar closes. Okay, so again, it came in here, red zone, rejected, back down. Buyers are bringing it up. If it closes above here, I'm telling you, Wall Street will probably open bullish and come after stops and go bullish, unless the sellers can protect this prior to the open. So you see the battle. It's a spin top candle. Okay, sellers were strong selling it. Buyers are strong bringing it back up. Sellers are bringing it right back down to where the candle kind of opened. Now buyers are bringing it back up. We got 90 seconds to go. This is the ping pong going up and down, up and down. NASDAQ retested the red box, pushing down. So it's still, sellers are there for NASDAQ. US 30 is kind of lagging behind. But we'll see what happens, guys. Okay. I'm not risking too much on this trade. Like it is US 30. My risk is not even 20 pips. That's, to me, that's not a lot with US 30, considering sometimes these 5-minute candles move 30, 40, 50 pips. I'm only risking 20 pips, guys. Okay. So it's basically just a little more than a 1-to-1 on this trade, but not a lot of risk. I'm not risking like 50 or 100 pips. So if I get stopped out, it's only 20 pips. Yeah. Watch, guys. I'll verbally tell you if I get stopped out here. And you'll see. Maybe I'll get stopped out and then they reverse it back down Wall Street market open. But I don't play those games. If I get stopped out, I get stopped out. I don't care if it's 1 second prior to Wall Street market open. Doesn't matter. Okay, I'm stopped out. That's it. Now I got to watch how Wall Street market opens. Okay, so I got to clean up my charts. I tried. I was in profit. Not enough for me to take out anything. Now I got to really respect Wall Street markets open. Okay, and there's that. Look, I got liquidated, and then this happens. Oh, man, if I see this bleed out, oh, my God. Okay, here we go. So this is volatility now. I still have a sell side bias, you know. Okay, remember, I still have sell side bias, but just seeing how it can come up, maybe break. Will it be a lower high? Will they need to grab some more stops up there? Who knows? Okay, first 30 seconds of Wall Street, strong. All of these irrelevant zones you can kind of get rid of now, because now the market is opening up. Okay, and gold. Okay, so gold is still bearish down in there. Okay, too much indecision, you know, like with NASDAQ, bullish on US 30, gold is still below there. Close, make that red, okay, and watch for it to close above. Okay, so US 30 is bullish, okay, so it held down there, higher low from all of this, breaking, new daily high up there. If this closes above that purple line, guess then all of these red zones are going to get flipped. I'm going to kind of get rid of this one, just bring it down. Now that I can see where the volume has traded, right there, kind of make that green. I could be buying pullbacks now if there's strength in the market. I'm going to wait for this thing to close. See, guys, that's why I use stop loss. I lost 20 pips, but it's better losing 20 than losing more. Like, you know, the sellers couldn't follow through and break through there. We saw how many times it got rejected at those points, but they didn't close it with conviction. Look at NASDAQ. Look at the nasty range. Okay, so, oh man, there's a lot of volatility. I'm staying out of this for 5, 10, 15 minutes till things taper off. because this is just, wow, a typical Friday chaos. Like, look at NASDAQ. That's a nasty candle for both buyers and sellers. It's the worst candle you can get. That range of that spin top. Okay, so but let's just put the pieces of the puzzle together. They took out liquidity from the high of the day, the previous high of the day that was that 8 a.m. Eastern. So they took that out and getting rejected now, coming back down. Again, the lesson of today is follow through. US 30 cup and handle. Yeah, Sam, that's what it looks like. This is what a traditional cup and handle looks like. You got that move coming up. This is the cup. Okay, there's your coffee cup. And this is the handle. That could technically come up bullish. It did, but they rejected it hard, and we're going to see if it will maybe be a false cup and handle. But if they bring that volume back above there, this could be bullish, and we could see US 30 continuing to break out strong today. Okay, that's a big rejection wick. We have now 20 seconds to go into the close. I'm just focusing on US 30 right now, guys. I'm not looking at NASDAQ. I'm looking at it, but I'm looking to trade US 30. Okay, so big rejection, big range. First 5 minutes of Wall Street. Still, it's inside this zone, so it's trading in between a red zone and a green zone. Yes, it did come to the daily high up there. Still inside here. So if it wants to trade in here, I don't want to fight it. I don't want to. You know, it could either be buys or sells. I'll let it build. I'll let it accumulate. I don't want to be part of this because there's too much indecision. Let it continue to build. Same with NASDAQ in here. You got it kind of consolidating in between a red zone and a green zone. Again, you're smart. You know that NASDAQ is not just going to stay inside here all day. It's eventually going to move out of here. So just kind of watch and see who accumulates more. That big liquidity wick, that's interesting down there. We're still in this trend channel coming down, okay, for NASDAQ. US 30, okay, is breaking the channel. Okay, so we had that big wick that break the high, daily high, got rejected back down. Now it's coming right back up. But remember the size of the wick. Look at the size of that. So these buyers got to continue to come all the way up, back all the way up here. It's not easy to do that, but if they have the volume, I'm just watching where the volume is moving. It came up, they rejected it back down. It's in a tough range for both of these. Okay, so this is a tough Wall Street market open. There's no direction currently. So sometimes you gotta let it build. Gold finally closed above. Okay, so the daily point of interest position, okay, the yellow line closed above. If it comes down and retests this, see if it builds off of this, see if it gets a little bit of momentum to continue drive for gold. Okay, and NASDAQ driving back up. Again, follow through. Can it close above that red zone? Same with US 30. It's coming. Wow, it's filling that wick. Created a new high. Will it close above? Maybe we can figure out where 50% of this is or buy a retest off of this at the close. So strong move. Okay, so maybe NASDAQ will continue to break through. If you want to buy the high, you're welcome to. Otherwise, wait for this bar to close. we can maybe buy a pullback off of it. Where? If this closes above, we'll flip this red box green. We can maybe buy out of there. We'll figure out where 50% of this candle is. Maybe it closes near the high and it's ignited and continues drive on the next bar. All of those things to consider. But I'm going to wait it out 2 more minutes. And similar thing, if NASDAQ closes above there, flip that red zone green as well. Maybe you can catch a retest buy off of it. But it created a new high. If it gets rejected and it closes back below the red box, then that red box is still there. Then it might get another leg coming down, okay? So, you know, we'll figure it out in 90 seconds. I don't like trading like this. Like, hopefully you guys don't like trading like this either. This is too much indecision. We don't have like a real trend right now. I'm talking specifically for US 30. It was just this tight move and then just Wall Street breakouts. Like, but I like more of a trending market. That's a nice candle on NASDAQ. Okay, so follow it into the close. The sell on NASDAQ with the signal at 22,500. 22,500 is right here. It just tapped it. Impulse. There's no volume that closed below there. So if you took a sell, you took a sell just on a tap. You took a sell on an impulse. For anyone that took that. Like, I don't see any closing volume below. There's 22,500 on NASDAQ right there. So I just see it just came, tapped it, and reversed. If you jumped in on impulse, that's on you. Like, that's what I'm saying. There's a time and place when to take impulse trades. That's probably not the time right at Wall Street market open. But if volume closed below 500, then we look for volume to close below, retest it, then you look for your sell position, okay? But that did close above, so you see I'm behind here. If you flipped your NASDAQ zone green, okay, same with US 30. It closed above, flip the red box green. See, I'm missing out here. Oh. Gotta be fast, guys. Sometimes you gotta be fast. Okay, so it closed, it came up, closed, retested, came up, not a new high, just right there, lower high. Will it come back down lower, or is it building and will it continue to break out of here? And then where's also 50% of that physical bullish bar? Okay, if it does come back down into here. And then to the left, okay, it's got some clearance, okay. I'm going to go in a buy now on US 30. This is going to be probably my last trade of the session. I'm going to place my stop, okay, below that green zone. I'm going for a bigger stop now, okay. And like, see, I have no structure for a reward. So what I got to do is I got to look above that purple line, continue going to the left, possibly got to go higher time frame, okay. So 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 4 hour. Okay, so last time we were trading up here was, okay, sorry guys, but I'm on a 4 hour, so I'm on the split screen, so I got to really kind of look above this purple line right there. There's 4 hour bodies at 688. Okay, so you see I'm just placing a line right there. Next one right there. Okay, right inside there. Okay, so I got 2 kind of zones now I can watch on my 5 minutes. Okay, there we go. Okay, so it is pushing up. Okay, but we now have our red line above us. So if it gets up there to that there, it could be a 60 pip move up to there. Okay, so, and then also the next one, like another TP, would be that red line up there. Okay, so you see where I got those red lines from. I had to go back on the 4 hour candles to look the last time US 30 was trading up there. Okay, So nice bearish bar come down on NASDAQ, cut a wick, but it needs to flip that head of that body to continue to drive. Okay, it's got that bearish ignited head, that hanging man candle. I wanted to buy US 30 earlier, but I was flipping these boxes. I wanted to get in a little early. I should have just verbally told you guys I was entering a buy. But okay, so let's just figure out what's happening here. We created a new high. Okay, maybe we'll come back down and retest, but this will be my final trade for today. We'll see what happens with it. Okay, and notice that head on that NASDAQ candle, like it's still holding that ignited head. With 1 minute and 20 seconds to go, can the buyers flip that candle? Had a solid retest in here. And we've got 1 more minute to go into the close. Gold is building, guys. See how it's building there at that yellow daily line. They took out that daily position, bullish engulfing candle, come back up, engulf those two bars, got an inside bar. We could see gold continuing to take off, maybe test this red zone back up to here. But okay, so it started to build at a daily position. So that's why those higher time frames matter. You know, like a daily position is much stronger than an hourly and much stronger than 5 or 15 minutes. Okay, so here we go, 10 seconds into the close. NASDAQ has not flipped that bearish head yet. We've got higher lows and higher highs on US 30. Can it close with some volume above that wick? Okay, so we did get that volume close above there. Can it build? Okay, so got a quick little ignited open on US 30. Okay, so can it fill the wick and start to drive a little further? Okay, so notice we got an ignited open now. Can it fill the wick and drive? Or is it going to be a lower high and it's going to come back down and we lose our ignited head? And then we could be coming down testing 50% of this bullish bar, or our green zone and our 9 EMA is now inside the green zone. Okay, so it did push up, did create a new high. We still have our ignited open. NASDAQ open nice bullish. You got kind of like a 3-bar play in there, taking out the high. Let's see if NASDAQ can reach that red line, 563, 565 up there. I might even raise it right up a little higher, up to 50% of that bearish candle to 567, 565 is a good target for NASDAQ. We still have our bullish ignited open, still holding, created that high, but now they're testing it and we just lost it, okay? So next thing is, where will it come down to maybe attempt? Maybe 50% of that bullish candle, what I was just talking about. If it drives in there, will we find some buyers in that little pocket in there? Okay, like right in here, a little bit above that, a little bit below that candle. Okay, will we find a pocket of buyers in there? If it's not in there, then definitely the bigger zone. This was the zone that was red, red, red with Wall Street volume closing above. That's when we flipped it green. So will pending buyers be waiting to enter in there if it pulls back inside right there? Oops, I didn't want to get rid of that. I just want to get rid of that red line there. Okay, so you see now it's retesting the top of that green box. Can it build? More than likely, it'll retest this bigger zone down in here, but maybe not. We'll see. Gold is building. Okay, building. See how this red line now with volume above will act as static support going forward. So this bullish move, if it breaks through here, could have clearance to come all the way, clear all of this and get up to your red zone. And that looks like one whole leg. Like it came down. You have now a pronounced leg coming back up. Maybe the neckline is there. It might come back down to retest this. Maybe back down there. Maybe a double bottom. But hopefully it kind of just retests this and continues to drive to the upside. So if you're in gold buys, I think now is the time where it's kind of building. I'm just going to watch this ugly US 30. And next week, also remember, guys, NFP, first Friday of the new month. I believe next Friday is July. What day is it? And we have a Canadian holiday, and are we going to run into the U.S. holiday as well next week's? Yeah, Friday, July 4th. So we got to take a look at Forex Factory and figure out what days the markets are closed and opened and things like that. We got some holidays next week. Okay, so you notice how we're momentarily just retesting a little 50% of that previous 5-minute candle. Okay, it's still technically holding support. Okay, so now we're pushing up with some volume. Can we keep our volume closing above here? Maybe we can come up to some highs. It would be beneficial to us if we can close above the previous high. We got 20 seconds to go into the close. So we've already had one official retest of 50% of the previous candle holding. We did not retest our bigger zone, so that's not bad. But again, follow through. Can the buyers close strong up here? Or is it just going to be an indecision spin top candle? And then that allows sellers to continue to push it back down. Okay, so we did close with a little bit of bullish volume. We have a bullish ignited open. Perfect. Now, can we continue to fill our previous wick and maybe drive a little further, create a new high? Okay, we want to retain our ignited open as much as possible. If it does retrace down, we want to continue to fill. So that's what we're doing. We're filling. We've got buyers asking to trade at these highs. 655, maybe we can get up to 660 up here and then target maybe 670. And then if we start to move, close to 50 pips, I'm going to start to bring my stop loss a little higher. But right now I still have my full stop. I haven't touched it yet. Okay, now those are tweezer top highs at 43,645 momentarily. Tweezer top highs. They're disgusting. I hate those things when I'm in buys. I hate tweezer bottom lows when I'm in sells. Those are equal highs. They're as ugly as it gets. Thank you, Shay. NFP is on Thursday. Perfect. Okay, guys, so NFP is on Thursday because Friday is July 4th and markets will be closed. So keep in mind Thursday is NFP next week. Okay, so you see those tweezer top highs still holding. We still have our bullish ignited open, so there's still buyers, but we can't break that, guys. Like, it's very technical. Coming down, we're still holding our bullish ignited open. We got volume coming back up, but can we just break those tweezer top highs and go for a new high? Or are these sellers, giving us a clue that that's it? They're holding the market down right now. This is the time we got to pop and break this. Okay, like follow through statement. To say that we're here, we're buying, we're going to blow through this resistance, no problem. We're not letting you hold equal highs. We're going to break for a new high. So it's very technical when you see equal highs or equal lows when you're trading. Okay, so we broke it. That's good. So we broke that position of those equal highs. Just peaked above, even if it's one tick. One tick is psychologically one tick higher than it previously was, so just talking technicals, one little tick, that's all it takes to change up the whole entire depth of market. It doesn't take a 50 pip candle one tick is all it takes to change up everything, because that keeps the uptrend moving. It keeps the higher highs moving. It keeps higher lows. The depth of market starts to get orders pulled and start to get put in the queue at higher positions. It builds the depth of market. That's what we want in a buy. Like, I want to strengthen this zone. So hopefully down here, there was pending buyers that wanted in here. They maybe pull their orders and then they put them in this green box. It hasn't came in that green box. These guys probably pulled their orders and put them in this green box, waiting for that pullback right in there. We only had one pullback. So, maybe this candle now is breaking out. We'll figure out where 50% of this is, and maybe orders are getting in the queue in that one. So we're constantly building higher highs and higher lows. And notice we still have our ignited open. We have a new high, but it's going to be how it closes. Now, 90 seconds to go. Can we get bullish volume closing above our previous tweezer top high, that red line? Okay. They've rejected it now. We have an inverted hammer candle. If we lose all of our open, then it's going to turn into a shooting star and we're coming back down here. Next candle could open with that momentum, be a bearish ignited candle and come back down. Hopefully we can retain our volume. The buyers are still interested and they're still buying, asking to trade up here, which they are doing. So that's good. So every time sellers are pushing it down, the buyers keep pushing it back up and squeezing them. So that's technically exactly what we want in a buy situation. Now we just got to follow the closing volume. Are we going to close above this red line? This red line was resistance. It might momentarily turn into support for our next bar. It might retest that, catch a wick, and continue to move. Okay? So, but we got 30 seconds. Anything can happen in 30 seconds. The buyers could shoot it up here. Sellers could bring it all the way right back down. We've seen crazy stuff in the markets. This is just another candle. Okay? So let's just follow the close. And we have a strong daily bullish candle. We're at the highest point of the day right now. So can they continue to squeeze? I'd like to see it get up to that red line. 43,688, 670. That would be about 60 pips from now. Okay, so, but we got a good move right now. Like if you guys are happy with 35 pips, possible 40, you guys can start to reduce your risk in the trade. Okay, look at the red line now. See that red line? It's kind of representing 50% of that. And we got another bullish bar with a short wick. Can we get that pop and drive? Like this is the bar we need. Okay, so 40 pips, guys. I'm going to go to right there. I'm reducing my stop below that green box substantially. Okay, so you see what I just did? My stop was down there. Now it's just below this green box. So I've really reduced it. I still have... Okay, 15 pips of risk. No issues with that. Okay, 15 pips is nothing for US 30. Okay, but we got a 40 plus pip trade, maybe 50. There we go. 50 pips. If it gets up to that red line, guys, you can do your thing. Scale out a little bit. If you want to scale out now at 50 pips, up to you. Okay, I'm going to take out 80% myself, taking out 80%, and I'm leaving 20% running. Okay. Above 50 pips, I'm taking out 80%. Kind of make up for that gold loss and leave the rest running. Okay, guys? So look at that. Like, understand everything, guys. Today was all about follow through. It was all about follow through. Okay? There we go. Right to that target. Okay? And where did I get that red line from? Okay? I didn't just guess that red line. Remember what I did. Let me just show you full chart where I got that from. Look above that purple line, okay, when we were driving up there, where is it? 5 minutes, 15 minutes, see the purple line? There's no action. 30 minutes, no volume. 1 hour, nothing. I had to go to the 4 hour, and finally I found something on the 4 hour. Right there, I go all the way back, you see? So there was a 4 hour. This was all the way back in March 3, right there, February 28. There's February 27. Last time we traded here, that's what I saw in the 4 hours. There was a body, there's a wick. So I placed that red line right there at that 688. And you see how there's the dotted white line. We got right up there. The next one I put was right here. I saw that there was like all of this action. So I just put it right in between all of this. Like right there. There's a wick inside here, half of this. And right there, if I continue to look for one more up top, look at now. You've got a red zone now. This is where I would place a red zone right there. Okay, see, there's a wick, volume push down. Make that red, supply. Extend it to the right if you can. Extend right there. So now you'll see it when I go back to the 5 minutes. Okay. Oh, shit. So when you go to the 5 minutes now, you see there's that red line, the first one, where I took 80% of my profit, like kind of in there. And then there's your next red line. And then where's that big red box? There's your big red zone right up there. You guys understand what I'm saying? And it's 43,900. If you look at 50% of that red zone right in the middle, right exactly kind of in the middle, it's close to a nice whole number, 43,900. So that's how psychology works, okay? But you need a big move to get it all the way up there. So first line, it came to the resistance. And you see how the sellers are there, absorbing us right there, okay? So, you know, that's how you can figure out where price action can move to. It's not always 100%, but you could give yourself a better indication than just guessing. But, okay. Am I surprised that there was a rejection at that red line? I am not, okay? Because I saw back in end of February, early March, 4 hours got rejected there. So why would this 5 minute candle not get rejected there, okay? But if I'm still invested, I still have 20% running, so I want to bang on my runner to continue to drive, but you just got to go through the motions. So that was stretch it into the future, right? We haven't came into here, we haven't came into there. So we're building blocks above us. Look at NASDAQ. Wow, bullish ignited candle, pop that wick and continue drive. It's approaching its high of the day. Cup and handle, I'm sorry. See how the cup and handle played out? I forget who mentioned it, but excellent observation on the cup and handle. Okay, see here, my coffee cup, can you see it? Cup and handle, okay? So there's my handle right there. Where's the camera? Right there. There's the handle and the cup. And there it is, okay? So we were in this bullish rally. There's the cup, this nice rounded bottom. And then here's that last latest. And then there's that big bullish move coming right out of there. So excellent observation. And that's how patterns can play out. Not all the time do they play out, but you know, sometimes just having a knowledge of what the pattern to look for and then just trading with the trend, okay? So NASDAQ, beautiful move coming out of here. US 30 is looking good too. Another bullish ignited candle open, but we had a massive rejection at that red line. So it's opened, ignited, continuing. We have a long distance fill to fill that up, but it definitely can with Wall Street volume. Wall Street volume is not a joke. It's big volume. It could fill that. There it did. Fill for a new high, okay? So we are running now. Well, I'm currently running with my 20% runner. You guys maybe have your trade running. That's 75 pips. Again, guys, if it can get up to that next red line, that's 140 pip take up there, okay? Again, will it come all the way up there right now? I would love that if it did, but there's going to be pullbacks. So you got to just play this red line next. If this closes above, this might be our support zone now. Where it was resistance right there, it might turn to support. If you want to draw yourself a little zone, a little bit above, a little bit below, bada boom, bada bing, that's how you do that, just like that. And, you know, just continue to see if it will build. That's a beautiful move. Look at our daily candle. Holy shit, we have a daily Marabuzo candle, okay? I'm not Japanese. I'm probably butchering that, but if anyone is Japanese, you guys correct it for me. We opened bullish ignited. Look at it. We're trading right at the height of the day. We just have a tiny wick. So we're riding this bullish US 30 volume. Excellent, guys. Like NASDAQ, all-time highs, you know, we're slacking a little bit. US 30 is always slacking behind. It hasn't reached its all-time high yet. But if you want to see, go to the monthly. And this is how far away from all-time high we are. Okay. There. Look at those 4 tweezer top highs right up there. Okay. There's your all-time high. 45,100 right there. It attempted it in month of November, month of December, January, and February. And now we're coming all the way right back up, okay? It's unbelievable what these markets are doing right now. Okay, so not bad day in the markets. Gold was just selling. Couldn't find a bottom. Now found a bottom, okay? So again, came to the resistance point. If it does pull back, you're looking to pull back down into 3,265, maybe 50% of that candle to 262, but more importantly, this daily yellow position. Okay, that's where I like to place my alerts for the day, you know, on those lines. Place one in there, add it. Yep, if it comes to me later today, I'll definitely take a look at it. So guys, let's just watch now. Closing. Look at NASDAQ, new daily high. Again, big gaps it's leaving behind. You can definitely find 50% of that candle, like 50% maybe right there. We got this one right there. Okay. Same with our US 30, continuing to drive. 100 pips, okay? Please, guys, take some profit. It is a Friday. You know, if you took some losses on gold, this is a way to make it back up. I'm going to take out 10% out right now. I got at 100 pips. Why not? And then I'm just going to leave 10% running for the rest. Guys, I pissed myself in my pants like 6 times already, but it's all good. It's all good. It's worth a trade like this to pee your pants. It's all good. It's a secret between us. Don't tell my wife that Ron pees his pants. And it's all good. but it's worth it. It's worth peeing your pants to make 100 pips, okay? So you guys got a lot of my secrets, okay? Don't be telling the wife I'll be smoking in this room soon as I get the door. And also don't tell my kids that Ron pees his pants live, okay? Let's keep that secrets between us. Those are my nasty little secrets. Don't be telling everyone about this. Okay? I put trust in you guys. Okay? Nobody snitch on me, please. I know it's embarrassing saying this in front of the world, but it is what it is. I peed in my cup and handle. I peed in it. Yep. Oh my God. Yeah, right here, guys. See, the cup and handle is full of piss right now. That's what I was doing. I was just peeing in it under the table here. You guys don't see what's going on under the table. That's not for you guys. Okay, so pullbacks, guys, like just look at what we got going on. Short wick, another ignited bar. It probably still wants to go. Maybe Miss Jones, she shaved her legs last night. She's got her sexy Friday legs and still wants to go. That's why. If anyone is holding this entire trade, God bless. That's 120 pips right now. You know, total target up there is 140. If you guys are holding that, congrats. I would be. If you are, trail it behind. Trail it behind. Like if you got in here, trail it behind that block. See it's moving there, trail it behind that block. Maybe trail it behind here. Try and trail it behind as much as you can, you know. But if you do get pulled back and it continues to go, it is what it is. But you still got over 100 pips. You know, wow, Mike, you got it. Wow, nice one. Nice one, boss. That's a big trade. You know, so with that, I can bring that red line. Physically 50%. You know, like you'll get in the habit of just eyeballing where 50% of these things are. You don't always have to bring out the Rananachi tool and just look for where it is. Like you're pretty bang on, okay? It's not that complicated to figure out where 50% is. And then now what you can do is just adjust your zone. You can give yourself a zone now, a little bit above, a little bit below, bada boom, bada bing, and you got now your zone, okay? So gold. Yeah, gold is building, guys. Gold has volume closing above. See how the zones are static, but they continue to play out? That's why. Don't get rattled if you take a loss early in your trading day. Speculate smaller moves. When you start to see the volume moving, then you can start increase your sizing. But this looks like could be the neckline. So it looks like it dipped all the way down when at 930. Look at when gold finally reversed, 930 Wall Street. But it got down to that our yellow line. That 3,260.59 level, that's where the big buyers were waiting, and they've reversed it. It's nice. That doesn't mean that gold is just going to shoot up and be bullish for the rest of the day. This looks like it's just a counter pullback. It could come back right up to there, get up there, and then they push it back down. You know, so look to buy a pullback down here, maybe a double bottom today. If it continues to sell, don't be naive to just have bullish expectations. If it breaks here and it's continuing to drop, it could take out and be bearish the rest of this afternoon, okay? So just consider that. Right now, the indices are bullish, okay? There's nothing stopping these things right now. Guys, hit the likes on YouTube if you guys pee your pants too when you're trading. Just let me know. Am I the only one that pees my pants? Or if you guys pee your pants too while you're trading, hit the likes. Let me know. You can let the world know that you pee your pants too. Or if you pee in a cup. Whatever it is. It's all good. Alex, congratulations, brother. Nothing in the markets for you anymore. You got your 5% this week. Now got to log off. Amazing. I hope everyone can learn from Alex Chang in our group. Thank you for all the support on YouTube and our Zoom. I appreciate you, brother. I'd love to get to know you a little bit more. Appreciate you helping out the team and your positive attitude here. It helps a lot. So thank you, man, and congrats on 5% for the day or for the week. That's amazing. Patrick, pee on your old mouse. I know. I got a new one. I finally got a new mouse. It took me 20 years, but my kids convinced me to get a new mouse. Wow, NASDAQ. Okay, so sorry I've been neglecting NASDAQ a little bit, but you got a little bit of a zone at that purple line now. So, you know, like right here, use your purple line as a line of reference, bring it right down there, and there you go. You found yourself a nice little zone. You're using red lines, you're using the previous daily high. If it pulls back, that might be a good opportunity to get a good pullback buy on NASDAQ right in there. So again, wait for it, be patient, you know. You don't want to buy the highs right now, but you could, maybe if it just pulls back right in there, I've added an alert, who knows? Maybe I'll take a pullback buy on NASDAQ later today at around 22,590. Comes in here, that's where buyers could be waiting and take it back up. All right, so guys, just try to stay patient as much as you can while you're trading. If you're speculating, if you're trading against the trend, go smaller, counter trading. If you get stopped out, you lose a little bit, but you don't lose a lot. And then you can recover it with another trade and just go from there, guys. Okay, and always manage your risk properly. Always trail your profits behind. Try not to get greedy in the markets. If you got 100, 200 pip runners, try and take some out, because even I've seen 200 pip runners go up and they come right back down. Just like they went up, they can come right back down just as fast. So you don't want to give too much away. Even if you're bought gold and you're in this nice profitable leg, trail it behind, because this could easily come right back down and you don't want that to happen. It's demoralizing, psychological. Then you got to think about that all weekend, and then you got to come back and trade with that next week. Don't do that. Believe me, it's the vicious cycle of trading, and it's nasty. Guys, that's it for me. Had an amazing call, amazing week. Next week, we're going to go back to kind of regular programming. I appreciate you guys during these renovation times. So next week, we'll start Monday, I think 6 a.m. fresh. We get up, we'll go 6 till 10, 10:30. I'll have a toilet. I'm going to renovate a toilet this weekend underneath this table. So I'll have a urinal, right? Guys, don't tell the wife. I'm going to put a urinal right under this table. Something custom. Custom trading urinal for long streams. For traders at their trade stations. Maybe I'll patent it. Maybe, who knows? We'll do something together. The SST trading urinal. We'll do something fun. And I'll have videos of it to show you guys. We'll do some reels on it, and we'll keep you guys posted. But I hope everyone had a fantastic week. Markets are volatile. Who knows what could be said over the weekend? Missiles could fly. Bombs could be dropped. Who knows? Trump could say this. Trump could say that. I don't know. I don't even know what's going to happen the next 5 minutes, let alone this weekend. Just if you're going to hold positions over the weekend, properly, risk management. Be aware of gap up, gap downs on Sunday night. And have a good weekend, everyone. Yeah, guys, I hope you guys had some fun. We'll see you guys next week. Enjoy your weekend, everyone. Thanks, everyone on Zoom. I appreciate all of you guys. Everyone on YouTube, thanks for coming back. I appreciate you guys as well. And if you're going to continue to trade this afternoon, if you're already at some profit targets, just trade with a little bit that you're willing to risk, but don't risk it all, okay? And if you lose that little bit, that's it. The market is telling you, go enjoy your Friday. Go outside, cut the grass, do what you got to do, okay? Have a good weekend, everyone. God bless. Juma Mubarak. We'll see you guys Monday, 6 a.m. We'll get started, okay? Have a good weekend, everyone. Thank you guys so much.
Hey guys, good morning, welcome to the live session of Stock Sniper Trading. My name is Dave, guys, my partner is Ron. Let's get down to business here, guys.
In on US 30, sell, okay? I'm jumping in. Guys, that's a 100 pip drop. Yes, we caught it. Hey, guys, 200 pips, please, secure.